Something has stopped us now. I'll tell you how. We're gonna live on through it. Let's stay inside and spend our time taking things in stride. Good times aren't held at bay. Just stay away from the population and wash your hands to kill off those bacterial strands. Now we're trying to keep a little distance. It's for sure our best resistance to making things a whole lot worse. Come on, kids, let's all go down to the sink. Wash those grubby little hands of yours. 20 seconds. You never know, it might just save a life. Something has stopped us now, but don't you fret, it'll for sure get better. We'll soon be hand in hand, going down to Disneyland. Oh, won't that be so grand, though something has stopped us now. Ah-cha-cha.
Good morning. Happy Saturday to everybody. Today is April 4th. It is day 214 of the stay-at-home order in Orange County and day 322 of the Disney parks being closed globally. So we'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us this morning. On the panel joining me today, I'll have Miss Allison. I'll have Cosmic Chris Reed. And I'll have Eric Wolf. We'll be joined by Pete Carney a little bit later. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. We are here for right now anyway, every Saturday morning from 11 to 2. We want to interact with you. We want you guys to help be participants in the show. So if you have great ideas for us, we'd be glad to see them, put them in the YouTube chat. We have somewhat of a format this morning, very loose. There's a few things we want to talk about. We're going to talk about places you can chill out in the parks. So we've done bars, but everybody has talked about the best bars, the best lounge, the best restaurants to hang out. But this is more of these quiet spots when everything's just a little bit too much. You need 20 minutes to yourself to relax, hang out, get some air conditioning, maybe get some peace of quiet. Maybe the rest of your party is going to ride something you don't want to ride, and you say, I will meet you at this spot where I'm going to chill for a little while. We're going to discuss some of those best spots. We are also going to talk about the private photo services that Disney offers. Allison was fortunate enough to experience one of those, and we're going to get into her experiences with those a little later. First off, though, pretty much the thing everybody's been asking for in any show that I'm a participant in is more participation from Butters. So the same people, we went to the same engineers that brought you the duck translator. They put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we came up with the Butters cam. So from time to time, we may cut to Butters and see what she's up to. She's out on the patio right now. She's taking a little bit of a nap. Hi, Butters. She's taking a little bit of a nap, but she wants to tell everyone hi. Things are rough for her. Her hair is about twice as long as it normally is because we haven't been to the groomer since we've been locked down. But there's Butters. We'll cut to her every now and then, and maybe she'll answer some questions for you guys later. I don't really know. But feel free to, well, we can leave her up there for now until she feels like moving around. That way people can at least look at her and I don't know, maybe smile. But I wanted to start off this week. She's very soft. She's very soft. I want to start off this week kind of just recapping some of this content we've been providing. You guys are accustomed to WDWNT providing probably about maybe 4 or 5 shows a week. A couple, we'll do Walt Disney World News Tonight, sort of the flagship program. Tom will do News Today, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays normally, or 3 to 4 times a week. And we'll sprinkle in some other live shows. We've been doing about 2 a day right now, and so it's easy for it to get away from you if you don't have all day to sit in front of a computer. I know a lot of us are actually still working, even though we may be primarily confined to our homes. Still a lot of work, and it's hard to remember to check in on everything. I want to just recap. Late last night, for those that didn't know, Tom Corliss was on with the guys from, it was pitched as the E-Ticket podcast, but they're called Marty Called, I guess. And there were 3 guys who at times have had some negative interactions with Tom in the past. They kind of got together to maybe bury the hatchet a little bit and talk about their shared passion of Disney. and some it got pretty interesting. They get pretty deep into things that happen between them. I know we all know Tom has been a polarizing figure, but he's like sort of a figurehead in the Disney fan community. So it was interesting to see him interact with those guys, have them challenge him on things he's done in the past, have him explain his rationale for things. It's really a good watch. I'm actually not done with it. I watched about 3/4 of it, and I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it later today. I recommend you guys. Butters is barking at someone. She has feelings today. So, but I recommend checking that out. It's a pretty good watch. There's some pretty interesting content on there. Pretty cool discussions. I will watch it later. Another really interesting moment that we had this week was Party with Pete. Pete Carney will be joining us on the second half of the show, probably around 12:20, 12:30 today. Pete, he had a video of himself doing a one-man DJ show for his apartment complex, which was pretty neat. But Pete also had Piano Rob from Jelly Rolls on, and he was playing songs live, some on his own, some requests, and it was really great. People really liked it. It's a great show. I recommend you go back and watch a little bit of Party with Pete, see some of the piano stuff. I know he did a tribute to, well, not a tribute, but he played a couple Fountains of Wayne songs, which was important to me. I'm a Fountains of Wayne fan, and Adam Schlesinger, the lead singer for Fountains of Wayne, passed away from COVID-19 this week. So he played Stacy's Mom and That Thing You Do. Those were great moments for me. Played a lot of fun songs for people and interacted with people. It was really great and entertaining. In addition, not in the WDWNT universe, or not within our circle, but Yeehaw Bob has been playing live shows. So if you're a fan of Yeehaw Bob, check him out on YouTube. I think he's playing one, on Sunday. But he's always, when my family comes down, they always want to go see Yeehaw Bob. So that's worth checking out too. Park Center. Who watched Park Center this week? Anybody?
I have not.
I think I did.
Yeah, Park Center is really one of my favorite shows. They try to recap everything a week in Disney news in like 30 minutes, and it did not. It went way over 30 minutes. They had some serious technical glitches early in the show, but what they did was they recapped the March Madness that we did on WDW News Tonight, and almost, I think, universally disagreed with our final decision, which I did too, but I was outvoted, of a new Matterhorn and Swiss Pavilion winning the bracket of the best unbuilt Disney attraction. So Park Center is great. They really did a good job. And since it was on April Fool's Day, there's like a malfunction, and then it cuts, and it's Pete Center. And now Pete is the main guy hosting Park Center. So it was pretty funny. Unfortunately, that some of the rest of the technical problems made it feel like it was a joke that was dragging on too long, but it wasn't. They were just having trouble. And that's things happen. Anything happens, especially when you do live on YouTube. After that, we have been doing several movie watch-alongs. I know, Eric, you guys have now the DCOM squad, and they watched along with Xenon, girl of the 21st century.
Girl of the 21st century.
Disney Channel original movie. And if that was a niche that we were missing. We didn't have a good bunch of good content geared for DCOM fans, and now we have that. Man. The DCOM squad has been born. And are you guys going to be doing any more DCOM movies coming up, Eric?
So I know that for sure. Jessica and I would love to do some more. We're just trying to see which ones we're going to be doing, and hopefully we get a slot. And like Eric said, we've been doing things. We have 2 things going on every single day, so we're just trying to find another slot to fill in. Right. And but hopefully the DCOM squad would be back.
That's great. And I know that there were some other movie watch-alongs that went pretty well. I did the Cool Runnings watch along, which for some reason we have a small group of people within WDWNT who are very passionate about Cool Runnings, including Pete. So Pete led that one. We watched Cool Runnings. I actually watched it ahead of time because I had never seen it before. So I got to see Cool Runnings twice this week. So if you want, that one might be a fun one. Basically, because of copyright reasons, we can't just show you the movie on the screen. So we will say, all right, everyone get on Disney Plus, go to the 10-second mark, pause it. Okay, in 3 seconds, we're all going to hit play, and you watch along and crack jokes together in the chat or whatever. It's a good time. And there was also, I believe, was yesterday, Waking Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm, that was yesterday.
That's one I haven't. that's one I haven't seen. So I want to watch that movie, and then maybe I'll do the watch along if I have time.
Yeah.
One that I know my girlfriend really likes is we have Cosmic Read. So Chris is spinning his Disney tunes once a week. You want to talk about your show, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's on iTunes and now on YouTube as well. We had a little bit of glitchiness last week. We said we were trying to emulate Wreck-It Ralph, the scene from the glitch that goes on during that movie. But no, we were talking about things you have at home to get you through Disney withdrawal. So whether it be clothes or food or stuff that you have in your house. But we also do play music and take requests and then play those ones on iTunes, and that's every Monday at 9 p.m.
Great. Yeah, it's I know it's very popular. So, and people like it a lot.
Awesome. Good to hear.
We had Colleen's Craft Corner. And Colleen went on with Tyler, and I don't remember who, but we had a few people on there with Colleen, and Shannon, and they were making like DIY Mickey ears or mini ears, as the case may be. And Colleen is a whiz with all the craft stuff. So if you're into crafts, we may be bringing that one back. If not, I would certainly recommend going back and checking out Colleen's Craft Corner. I watched a little bit of it, but I'm not very crafty. I was kind of busy at the time, but looked like people were really enjoying it and having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very cute. I saw it. It was very nice. A lot of creative. You can do a lot of creative stuff, and I love that you can make your own creation, then wear it around the parks, and then you get little compliments like, "Oh, where'd you get those? I made them myself."
I made them myself. You thought these were professional grade. Yep. And then Ride Rehab. I know Tyler and Thomas have been doing a lot of these watch alongs, and the first few episodes I watched anyway were pretty corny. They were watching some pretty like Disney anniversary shows with Danny Kaye at Disneyland, where Danny Kaye plays like 9 different roles. It's pretty funny. They're pretty high on the cheese factor. They have a lot of these old kind of vintage Disney TV specials and things that they're doing. So definitely check those out. Those are pretty funny. Oh, and who else is on? Ben's on there too, isn't he? Hasn't Ben been helping them, I think. So those are great. And I want to also mention that Tom Corliss did an interview with Nathaniel Palma, who was a Disney ambassador, and it really gave you good insight into what the job of being a Disney ambassador is. You really get a lot of stories about the way that job operates, because this is in addition to going to like every park that Disney has just about in a year, he's doing like 200 job shadows, working in a haunted mansion, working at, you name an attraction. These ambassadors are working in those attractions to kind of step into the shoes of the cast members that work there from pretty much any job within the parks. And it's really interesting to see his perspective on these types of things. So anyway, I just want to, recap the week real quick. And finally, we'll go to the Walt Disney World News Tonight, which is every Thursday night from 9 until ? Which is this week we talked about special effects. I think the concept was like special effects that may be old or dated. They've been around a while but still impress you. So we kind of went around and had a panel discussion about that. We had a really maybe the best intro that our show has ever had, which is a haunted mansion type of video that Tyler
that was
made.
such a good one.
Tyler and Thomas made.
He's so good.
So I highly recommend you guys check that out. Even if you can't watch the whole thing, I realized like 3 hours or whatever it ended up being is a long time to set aside to sit down and watch something, but there's some cool moments in there. We also did the Tony's Town Squares, which is an interactive game with the viewers. So we did that, and it was a good time. So check them out.
I wasn't able to sign up for that, but I wish I would have signed up for that one. It seemed fun.
But Maria was there.
Missed you.
Yeah. Maria took your spot.
Yeah, that's fine.
She's sassy, that one.
I want to kick things off with the photo shoot that we referenced earlier. Well, hold on. Butters, how's the neighborhood? Okay, looks like everything's okay. She's checking in. Looks like everything's okay. Yeah. No burglars so far. She's bad. No burglars. Look at that. No burglars. Good job, Butters. You get an extra treat later. Thank you. But let's get into this photo shoot, Allison. Why don't you just kind of talk to us a little bit about the origin of this, how you went about booking this, what your experience was like, what your options were, and what the final result was like.
Sure. So, firstly, hello. You might not have seen me before. I'm new to the team, so it's nice to be here.
Allison,
yeah,
we joined about the same time, right? Allison was like
you
maybe
were
a week after
a
me.
little before me. Yeah.
So maybe a week or two,
maybe two.
And you've seen her on Walt Disney World News Tonight, and then now during I'm sorry to interrupt you, Allison, but since we started doing WDWNT live, Allison wanted to participate in a lot of this content we're doing, but for technical reasons, we kind of had to get her the right equipment so that she could do this. And so now here she is, and we're excited to have her available now to jump in and help with all this live content. So go ahead, Allison. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you off track.
Okay. No worries. So, we had a Disney Fine Arts photography portrait session done, and we actually did that a little over a year ago. And we added that onto our wedding package. So we had an 8-hour session for our wedding. So I think it was about 8 hours, and we had photography at our wedding throughout the boardwalk for our ceremony and our reception. And what we could do was we could add on a portrait session along with that. So I can tell you a little bit about some pricing too. For the photography package.
Was this something that the photography package could only be booked through Disney Fairy Tale Weddings? Or is this something you could do without a wedding?
No, you can do this without having a wedding, but we decided to because we wanted to we love photographs and we love beautiful photographs, and it would be a really great opportunity for us to tack that on to our wedding package. We decided to go for the portrait session. So that's why we did it. But you can have a portrait session in the parks for any sort of occasion. So it can be graduation, it could be I'm having a baby, it could be a family reunion, it could be vow renewal, it could just be for kicks. So you can have a portrait session in the parks or at the resorts, and it doesn't have to be part of the wedding.
And then who do you contact for that?
So we were working through our event planner, and she just basically gave us a whole list of options that we could have, and we go through all the different options that we want for our wedding, and we decided that photography it was more important for us than some other things. So we decided, okay, we want to throw some of our extra money into something really nice and really special, and we wanted to do the portrait session, which took place the day after our wedding. Now, technically, you could do a portrait session we were originally going to be here for a week, and so we weren't living in Florida when we were planning this wedding, but we ended up moving to Florida before our wedding took place. So we were originally staying here for a week, and we could have had our portrait session done during that any week period. So you can have your portrait session yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, tell us about the process you went through to decide what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it. Did you scout out locations ahead of time, or did they have some suggestions, or were you able to pick anywhere you wanted? What was the process for that?
You can pretty much pick wherever you want. The price will change. So if we wanted to add on a photography portrait session that was at a different resort, it would be this amount of money. If you wanted it to be at Epcot, Studios, or Animal Kingdom, it was this additional amount of money. And if you wanted it to be at Magic Kingdom, that was the costliest one. For regular portrait sessions, if you wanted, just to do a cute little mini portrait session, just a family portrait session, not having to do with the wedding at all, it's 20 minutes long, and I believe it's $225 for that. Wow. And then it just kind of goes up from there. Our portrait session was an hour long. We chose Epcot. And for Epcot, you get to choose for the hour. They suggest doing 2 of the different countries. If you wanted to do more than 2, you can, but it kind of gets a little squeezed. So
Right.
we chose Italy and Germany, and they also suggest to not have countries totally far apart from each other. So like, don't choose Canada and Mexico, because your time that it takes to get all of your stuff and walk
You're
all
on
the
the
way
clock.
over to that next pavilion. Yeah, exactly. That eats into your time.
Okay. And then was this something you did prior to the wedding or in your wedding dress, or what did you choose?
We decided to do it the day after our wedding, which the morning of, we were like, why did we decide to do this? This is a terrible decision, because they pick you up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you have to get to Epcot around 7:30-ish, 7:45. I don't remember what time it was, but they picked us up at 7 o'clock, and to get all of my wedding hair and makeup done and to get everything ready, the hair and makeup person came to our hotel room at, I think it was either 4 or 4:30 in the morning, and that was the morning after our wedding.
Oh boy. So everybody's feeling great.
Yeah.
This is like getting up for one of the
tough.
marathons. Yeah.
It was tough. And so when we were planning this, I could tell you a little bit about the price if you're interested too.
I'm sure everybody's interested in the price, because that everybody would do this if the price were right, but I'm assuming the price is pretty big challenge.
So I don't remember how much it is if you booked totally separately versus us tacking this package onto our wedding. So for the wedding itself, this is not including the portrait session. For the wedding itself, for 8 hours, it was around $3,200-$3,300.
Wow.
And then adding on the Epcot portrait session for the next day, the total price for the ceremony, the reception, and the portrait session was like $4,300.
Oh wow.
And then
I'm
if
sure
we
all that
wanted to
goes
do
straight to the
Magic Kingdom,
photographer.
oh yeah, right. If we wanted to
Magic
do
Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom, it would have been an additional $600 on top
Okay.
of all of that.
And that would be the same thing. You would go in before rope drop. You're there at 7 a.m. or something like that. So there's not, Joey from Jersey in the background with his daughter on his shoulders while you're taking your wedding picture.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if we wanted to do anything at Epcot that was in like the Future World area, we would have had to have gotten there even earlier.
Yeah. And just to clarify for those of you that are confused about this in the chat, she's not discussing the cost of the wedding. She's discussing the cost of the photographs of the wedding. Is that correct, Allison?
Yes, that's right.
So, yep, just a photo. It's funny because, if you want to hire a photographer, say, hey, we're having a party, can you come take pictures? They're like, okay, they'll sell some pictures, they'll give you a cost. Or you want to hire a DJ, how much would you charge to come play for a party? And they're like, oh, like $300. And then you say the same thing to a DJ. Well, how much would you charge to do a wedding? They're like, oh, that's like $1,500. It's like, yep. Add wedding to the end of anything, and whatever that service is gets quadrupled in price or whatever. So
yeah, they always tack on a couple of zeros. But
so you didn't have time for a
costume
change. You didn't have time for a costume change. This was like, let's take as many pictures in our wedding garb as we can, and in an hour, and hop between the two countries. What about the result? How did you feel about the result? Did you feel like the pictures ended up being as beautiful as you had imagined?
They were gorgeous. They were absolutely beautiful. When I was actually taking the pictures, it was last March, and people don't expect Florida to be cold, but it was about 40 degrees when we were taking these pictures. And I was in a wedding dress, so my feet were in, I'm in heels, and my shoulders, my arms bare, and it is very, very cold. So in between takes, the photography assistant actually brought this big wool blanket and would throw this blanket over me in between shots because I was just shivering. It was really, really cold.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you get the photos themselves with these, or is this just the session fee that you're paying? Are all the photos included? They give you like unwatermarked digital copies of everything, or they print some out, or how's that work?
Yeah, I don't remember other packages, how it would work with how much access or how many pictures you would receive. But with the one that we booked, we got the digital without the watermarks. For the wedding itself, we got a thumb drive, so we have all of the pictures that they took. For the portrait session, we didn't get, I'm trying to think if we had access to those pictures via a website link, or if they just include everything on the thumb drive. I think they included everything from the portrait session on our wedding thumb drive. And we also got this big book. You could choose 20 prints for this one, and it can come in black or I believe white. And we got to pick 20 out of the, I guess, 120 or so pictures that we got, and they put it all into this book.
Oh, beautiful. While you're looking through that, I'm sure people are going to see some photos. I just wanted to mention, I believe shortly before the parks closed, Disney had announced that they were going to start doing a private session with a photo pass photographer. It was a little bit more affordable. It wasn't like the full wedding portraits, but I don't know. The session fee was like, let's say it was $50 or $100 for 15 minutes or whatever, but it did not include the photos themselves. So that was just your fee to have them take the photos, and then you could have the opportunity, I guess, to purchase the photos later. So, it's good to know that for the pretty big markup that you paid for this, that at least all the photos were included.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody wants to see some photos though, Allison.
All right, sure. So, we decided to go for Italy and Germany, and a lot of the wedding photographers say that Italy is one of their favorite places to photograph. Our first choice was originally, we wanted to do the UK because of the gardens. However, there was already an event booked in that area, so we couldn't have our portrait session in the UK or the two surrounding pavilions. So I think there might have been a wedding happening in that area, so that wasn't accessible to us. But we have Italy and Germany. So here is
oh yeah, beautiful. These
some
are great.
of that. Now, because it was so cold, we kept asking if there was some way we could get inside. Originally, we asked if we could go inside some of the restaurants, because in the German pavilion, in the beer garden, that has some really, really lovely atmosphere.
Right, the water wheel, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we wanted to get in there, but they said originally that early in the morning, the restaurants are locked and the stores are locked, so we wouldn't be able to go inside. However, we said, it's really, really cold. Can we get inside? So our photographer, I believe his name is Michael, he checked the doors in the stores in Italy, and it just so happened to be open. And he's never taken a photography portrait session inside the room with the Venetian masks. So this is the first time he's ever able to photograph people.
Oh wow, how beautiful.
Where the masks are.
Those are great.
So those are really, really nice. Those are some of my favorite ones. We were able to get up in Italy, if you guys know where that is. It's kind of in the back. Yeah. The stairs are roped off. We're able to get up there.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was really neat.
Did they drive you back there in like a golf cart? Did you ride a golf cart, or did you have to walk all the way around the World Showcase to get to your location?
So they picked us up in this white van and from our hotel room. So that's included. The transportation to and from your hotel is included in this package. And they actually drove the van backstage.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And they actually opened the gate, so the van itself drove into World Showcase, and the van was sitting in the middle of the big path between the water and the pavilions. So we were in the van itself there. Let's see. It was also the first day of the Flower and Garden Festival, so you can kind of see they were starting to set up.
Yeah, that's what my apartment looks like now.
Oh, does it? I saw that video last week. That's amazing. Let's see what else.
These are gorgeous.
Germany.
These are gorgeous.
That's a great spot.
Yeah, I wanted Germany for that well.
Yeah.
And then we have Baymax. Baymax is in his suit, if you can see. And then they took some pictures on the water, which was the coldest of them all. And he's not hugging me because he loves me.
You look cold there. Keep me warm.
He's hugging me for body warmth. So that was our portrait session. Yeah, I mean, you can discuss. You can have like you can let them know ahead of time what you want to do and the types of shots that you're interested in. You can pick your photographer. You can look at different photographers, what they've done in the past, and choose who you'd like, what your style is. But it was a lot of fun, and those photos came out they were beautiful. I'm very, very happy that we decided to do that.
Yeah, that's great. I know it's very expensive, but it's great to have something you'll keep forever that you're very happy with. Yeah,
it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And if anybody out there wanted to let us know if you had a place any place in Disney property, a cruise even, Disneyland, Disney World especially, if you can think of a place where you could have your ideal portrait session, if you could have some pictures for an hour, where would you want to have your pictures taken? So let us know in the chat. We're going to be taking a look at that in a second.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't you go ahead and put in the chat, anybody, we can discuss that, where you would want to have an ideal portrait session. And Allison took
Toy Story Land.
Toy Story Land?
Toy Story Land.
No shade.
There's no shade. Hey,
right in front of the popsicle sticks.
It'll be great lighting.
Yeah, that is great. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'll circle back around to that.
I think Tower of Terror in the lobby or in the area.
Yeah.
Oh, did you freeze?
Uh-oh. I think Chris might have frozen.
Oh no.
It happens.
He said Tower of Terror, or did he say Frozen ever after?
He said Tower of Terror in the, yeah. No, he said Tower of Terror. I think he was talking about the lobby of the Hollywood Tower Hotel, which would be a great spot.
I think that's what it
would be a fantastic spot, especially if
we were thinking of that.
A vintage wedding. Yeah, that would be really
one
cool.
of the places that we really wanted to have the portrait session, but they said no, was Pandora. We wanted to do a photo session at Pandora at night, and they said no.
Oh, yeah.
No, because it was at night, or no, just because you can't go to Pandora?
I think in general, I don't remember exactly, but I think that was one of the few places that we could not have a portrait session at.
Okay.
Oh, we have. Let's check in on the Butters cam. You're still protecting the neighborhood. Everything look good out there, Butters? Yeah. Hey.
She's
Yeah. Yeah, everything's still looking good. She's still a little too fluffy, but she's dealing with it just like the rest of us are being shut in. I'm getting pretty shaggy myself, so it's all right.
Let's see. Some people are saying the Port Orleans French Quarter.
Oh yeah.
For a portrait session, that would be really nice.
It would be hard to keep people out of your background though, like because you're gonna get some family walking down like one of the sidewalks, on their way to breakfast. I guess crowd control is important when you do something like that because that's a great idea.
What else do we have? Tom Sawyer Island.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer Island.
Oh yeah,
that would be a good one. Although you're going to waste a lot of your photo session time on a raft, like doing transportation.
Yeah. It's so funny. I've always wanted to do a photo session with a bunch of people dressed. We can cosplay or Disney bound the Lost Boys, and just being on that bridge that's in Tom Sawyer's Island. I'm like, oh, that'd be so good.
Oh man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
The boardwalk, somebody said, I think. Because our wedding was on the boardwalk. We had our wedding pictures before the ceremony around the boardwalk. So that we got pictures there. That was very, very nice. I don't know if you can have pictures in Galaxy's Edge or not, but in front of the Millennium Falcon would be pretty nice.
Yeah, I'll bet that will be a popular spot if you can. I'm sure. I think the riverboat would be kind of cool too, depending on the type of wedding you had. That would be a neat way to. I'm not sure what the best technique to shoot that would be, because you might want someone on the land while someone's on the boat, but that could be a cool one. And hey, why not the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse?
Why not?
Why not? We're up in the trees. It's beautiful up there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Inside the Beast's castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty nice. Inside the greenhouse in the land. Somebody said.
Yeah, with the dragon fruit behind you, or these the plants with just the roots like hanging down, going through the little conveyor belt. That'd be cool. But no, that would be a beautiful spot. There's plenty of beautiful spots there to do that.
Somebody said Pete would have had a portrait session in Jelly Rolls.
Pete and Jelly Rolls. Pete, for those of you that don't know, he works remotely a lot, and he'll actually go to the various bars and lounges at Disney. Like at 2:00 in the afternoon, he's sitting there in River Roost Lounge with nobody in there, working on his laptop. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, nobody knows all the spots like Pete. He probably would come up with some great ideas. But Jelly Rolls would be at the top of Pete's list. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah. Somebody said secret Swiss Robinson treehouse training facility.
Yeah. See, we do have a Swiss pavilion at Disney.
There you go. Yeah.
By the way, I think that would be a great watch along to do. I would love to see us do Swiss Family Robinson. The one from like the 60s. I don't think the old black and white one is as good. And then I would also want to see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Both movies I watched last week, available on Disney Plus.
Hey,
and Onward's available now. For those of you that don't know, I think we touched on it a minute ago, but did it come out last night or this morning? It was yesterday.
Came out last night.
Onward.
Yesterday, I think.
Yesterday or last night,
yeah. Now you can watch
yesterday.
Onward.
We're actually doing a watch along tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yep. Watch along tomorrow. So
yeah.
I would like to watch the movie before the watch along.
Yeah.
So I can only follow one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
So I could either follow the chat in the watch along, or I could follow the movie. My brain is very.
And I'll be sharing where all the hidden Pixar things are in the movie. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, watch it.
It's unfortunate for them the timing of the Onward release. Will, when you look back on it with hindsight, pretty bad combination, right? Onward and Mulan both really victims of this. We're all victims of this thing, but. Yes, sir?
I would say Onward more. Mulan actually got pushed back. So we are still going to be able to see Mulan theatrically if all this is done. If I'm not mistaken, both Mulan and Black Widow are both coming out, I believe, in November, or is it August for Mulan and November for Black Widow?
But they could still adjust those. I think the Fast and the Furious 19 or whatever got pushed back like a full year.
There's a lot of movies that are getting pushed back a whole year. Yeah,
that gives everybody time to watch all the Fast and Furious movies to get the intricacies of the plot down, so you really understand this next episode.
Yeah,
make sure you go on the ride too.
Yeah, in the ride.
Don't go on the ride.
You don't have to. Don't worry about it.
I've not been on that. I've not been on the ride, but I know that many of you have.
You don't have to ride it. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I was really excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now it's getting pushed back until next year. I was like, no.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we reported earlier this year, just in general, a lot of things that people are looking forward to that are being pushed back. The construction projects at Disney that are underway that were substantially, they were significantly completed. They're pushing on with. So the Tron ride, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratatouille, those are all still going to happen. And obviously, the middle of Epcot, they've already torn it up. I imagine they're going to do something there. But like the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, like they're just like, time out. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're just going to stop.
Yeah.
I assume Cinderella Castle will be, the painting will be completed. Who knows about Spaceship Earth? But this is really thrown, unfortunately for Disney, this hits a lot of hits a lot of people's businesses everywhere. But Disney has a lot of business units that are significantly impacted by this. You figure the studios, well, no one can go to the movie theaters, right? You have the parks, well, nobody can go to the parks. You have, all this other IP. Now, Disney Plus is their saving grace right now that people are stuck inside and will probably stream a lot. But they already had, I don't know what how much their subscriber base has increased. I bet it's better for Universal because they're owned by Comcast, and Comcast is probably picking up a lot of internet. People upgrading their internet service or subscribing to cable or buying movies or whatever. So maybe Universal is better equipped to ride this out than Disney. I don't know. I'm not a business analyst on this, but it is possible because it's very bad timing for Disney, especially I would say for Onward, because that had just been released in theaters, and the word was just the word was starting to get out that people really liked it, and I think it would have I think this really hurt. So it's great on Disney that they've released it now on Disney Plus, and we can all watch it for $3 a month or whatever it costs for Disney Plus.
So I think it's $6. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we got a D23 deal where we paid $150 for 36 months or something. I don't know. I guess it depends on what you have, but.
Courtney in the chat just reminded me, Jungle Cruise, which was supposed to come out July 24th of this year, is now pushed to July 2021. So that's another one that just got pushed a whole year.
And that's a big deal. I mean, when you push a movie, you put that much revenue into. I mean, this isn't some little low rent production. They brought in The Rock. They brought in some A-list talent for this. They're probably out a lot of money, and they're probably anxious to start recouping some of that money. And somebody probably crunched the numbers and said their best chance at recouping that money is to wait a full year.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have in here?
Well, you can prep yourself for Onward by watching Weekend at Bernie's. Have you seen that? Remember that one?
Weekend at Bernie.
Yeah. And once you see it, you'll know what I mean. You've seen it. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's
I know
so many, right? Yeah. That's all I could think of was Weekend at Bernie's too. Honestly, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's great. Do we have any more? Anybody else in the chat have recommended any places that they would like to see, like a private portrait session?
Let's take a look.
Eric immediately with Toy Story Land. I like it. All things Toy Story.
Yep.
Harambe, where that corn dog was murdered.
Oh yeah.
If you guys didn't see, we had during early on in News Tonight this week. They had graphic of what the foods were up to in the parks with nobody there. I think when Born Free was playing in the background. And at one point on the streets of Harambe, there were some corn dogs running loose, and one of them appeared to have been bludgeoned to death by some gangster corn dogs.
Gotta watch out.
You never know what's going to happen with our graphics team when you lock them up for weeks at a time. But
that was so good, though. That was well done.
It was so good. The whole we've already talked about the graphics at the beginning of that were awesome. Kevin, is Butters still checking on the neighborhood? Do we have a crime update or anything from her? No? Butters, any crime?
Still good.
You seeing anything out there? She's just sitting on a patio table, just taking it into view. No. Okay, well, let us know. You're doing a great job. I promise I'll give you an extra treat later. Okay, bye. She'll sit there.
Photo
She'll sit
session
there
with
all day.
Butters.
She'll sit there all day.
Every single time we. What were we gonna say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just about to say every single time that we go to Butters and she's looking away, and then when you say her name and she looks, I'm thinking of Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and I'm just like, she's just gonna start talking one of these days. She's just gonna start talking one time, and
Yeah.
The problem is going to be when somebody walks by with a big dog outside. She loves it. She goes crazy at big dogs. I think because we're, from an elevated position when she's safely up on the patio, she's pretty tough. But yeah, she'll stand nose to nose with them.
oh man,
The sci-fi dine-in theater, that would be a kind of neat in those cars to have some photography in there.
Yeah.
Would be kind of neat.
I can see where for the right
Yeah.
couple that would tell a good story, for the right type of people, that are into that or, something like that. That's a great idea. There's so many beautiful places in the parks that you could do these types of things that your imagination can run wild. And I'm sure that these photographers know most of the good spots, but I mean, who would have thought inside the mask store in Italy, and it ended up being beautiful and unique and something that you have that probably no one else has ever done before and probably won't do again. That's a really cool one.
I was very shocked, and I was absolutely thrilled that we were able to be in there because we thought that he was surprised. He's like, "Oh, it's open. These things are usually locked."
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible that like a lot of people were kind of in and out trying to get ready for the Flower and Garden Festival. So, I mean, there were people walking around with like buckets of flowers. So I'm assuming that because everybody was trying to get everything ready, that things were just like unlocked for ease of movement.
Well, yeah, who's going to break into
I'm
the
just
mask
guessing.
store in Epcot?
hey, do you know how much those things are?
Yeah, but Backstage Disney has bigger things on his plate, or Backdoor Disney, or whatever it is. Backdoor Disney has bigger things on his plate than stealing a mask in there.
True.
But no,
It was
that would
Patrick
be great.
Spikes, though.
Yeah, Patrick Spikes.
Yeah.
I think one thing that would be beautiful could be the waterfalls in Canada. As you go up there and then go down towards the theater, that could be beautiful. I mean, last time I saw it was kind of dirty, but normally when it's functioning and clean, it would be a really nice backdrop. We could probably.
You mean
go
all
on
the
day
moss?
Yeah, all the beautiful mold and algae on the waterfalls there. Catastrophe Canyon would have been a good one back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, wow.
If they could set it off for you.
Oh.
Just stand
Very
right
nice.
here.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have my pictures taken. I know it sounds very strange, but by the Rapunzel bathrooms.
They're
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Because
That's
I
nice.
love it. My
Yeah.
hair was
Themed area.
my hair was done with like flowers, kind of a la Rapunzel, and I really wanted to take pictures. I was like, if we can get there, that would be great, because our ceremony was Tangled themed and our reception was Carousel of Progress themed. So we wanted to try to do both, but they said that it was just going to take way too long to go from Tomorrowland all the way to Fantasyland, and it was just, it was $600 extra on top of everything to go to Magic Kingdom. It was like,
Like 2 weeks ago, we could have done the Carousel of Progress photo session in the studio. We did a pretty much spot on version of it.
Yeah.
If you missed that, we were right on. I actually, I didn't have time this week to put together like an original segment to open the show with, like we have the last 2 weeks. But I did write an updated scene for the Carousel of Progress for 2020, and maybe I'll get around to recording that and doing something with it. So I do have I did write a script for it. I just haven't had time to do anything with it. But that would have been great, Allison. You could take your wedding photos right there in the studio. Eric created some spot on original art. Look, indistinguishable from the real thing with a cog. Do the cog with like a magic marker.
I come in with my full wedding dress and I pose with Eric. Like,
And behind this piece
Oh,
of
the
paper
robins
for me.
are out.
with the paper.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Yeah, the paper. Yeah, the robins are out. Tweet, 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 tweet.
Oh man, that would have been so
Oh
good.
gosh. I'm proud and embarrassed of that little intro that we did.
Just be proud.
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, it was so good.
No, who cares? Nobody saw it.
One of the things that you can do, by the way, it's just kind of cheating, but not really, for having a portrait session, is you can wear your wedding dress if you go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, because it's considered a costume.
Oh yeah, because you can wear costumes.
Oh wow.
So
That's brilliant.
What you could do if you really wanted to is you could wear your wedding outfit anywhere in like not anywhere, but like, you know, in Magic Kingdom on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and get your own like mini portrait session somewhere else in your costume.
Yeah, we're just dressed as a bride and groom today. What?
Wow.
Yep. So technically, I believe you can do that.
Yeah, I think they probably would frown on that, especially if you had a guy pop up and start performing a ceremony by Splash Mountain or something, you know. Like, do you, Allison?
I'm in.
A violinist just kind of comes out of the briar patch.
Yeah. How much did your wedding cost? Oh, it was $110 plus tax per person. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard, and I'm sure that people have done it before. I'm sure that Disney has experienced that of pop-up weddings in the parks, but I don't know about people being brazen enough to just strut in wearing a wedding dress and a tuxedo and be like, "What are you gonna do, Disney? This is my costume."
It's not covering my face.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
I could have done that. I don't normally dress up in costumes, but this year I touched my face. Damn. This year we went as we had 4 of us, and we went as the stretching room portraits. So
I saw the picture of that.
Yeah. I was like the dude without his, when the photo stretches, he has no pants on. He's wearing like the red and white striped underwear. So that's like half of being a groom. I just had to pull some pants out of like a someone's backpack and throwing them on, and I'm ready for the wedding. We can get married with no pants on. I mean, people are Donald Ducking it these days at home when everybody's stuck at home all day wearing no pants and a shirt. Why can't you do that at a wedding?
That'd be great. I do know somebody that got married. It's not in Disney, but in Universal, in the castle in the queue. Like where you wait for the Harry Potter, what's it called? The flying adventure thing. What's it called?
The Hogwarts ride. What's the Harry Potter Hogwarts ride called?
Gosh, I was in the other side.
Someone in the chat will know.
Oh man.
But the one in the castle. But somebody like she went there with a group of her friends. Forbidden Journey. That's it.
Job chat.
So she went there with a group of her friends, and one of them got ordained, and when they got to the part where I think it was like Dumbledore was there or somebody, like she officiated and they got officially married in the castle.
They like wave a wand over him to make it official.
I hope so.
Dumbledore's like in that for like 2 seconds.
Somebody in the chat said, I wonder if Yeehaw Bob could officiate a wedding. I hope so.
I'll bet he could. You might have to do it on a night he's not performing, or pay him enough that he doesn't mind skipping a performance. But I'm sure I'm sure there probably is demand for that. He's probably done it. I know you do hire Yeehaw Bob for private events, where I talked to him one time and he's like, "Oh yeah, I went to Ohio last week to perform it, to play at someone's like wedding reception. They hired Yeehaw Bob." Not the worst idea I've ever heard. I remember. Do you guys remember an artist named Richard Cheese? He's still around. He would take. He did like the big album I remember was called Lounge Against the Machine. So he would take popular music and then he would play it like as a lounge piano act, and it's pretty funny. And I've heard it like bars, when they're opening and there's nobody there, play it or something like that. And I remember seeing that he was playing wedding, or he was offering to play events. He had a thing on his website, and it had a big disclaimer, and it's like a warning: people tend to tire of Richard Cheese after about 30 minutes. You may want to book additional entertainment. In other words,
that's perfect.
people think it's cute for a while, and after about a half hour, they're throwing things at you and screaming. I think Yeehaw Bob could keep people captivated though. He's got a big enough.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been doing great and not a terrible idea in his performance the other day. Then I get a link for a tip jar for him because obviously his income largely depends on tips. So there was a GoFundMe tip jar for him, and if the number of people in the chat was any indication, I'll bet he did pretty darn well in the old tip jar on whatever day that was. But yeah, he's a Disney treasure. I would love to have him come perform at a party or what. If I were just going to throw a big touching my face, a big outlandish party or wedding and had the money to do it, he would be at top of my list. And I think the Voices of Liberty, or at least they're like that kind of group that they have that is not officially the Voices of Liberty, but they have, I don't know what they had a group called Voices, I think. And they had something called Voctive. Yeah, that would be cool. Have them come sing at a private party or something like that. That would be really cool. That is one of my can't miss moments every year. I don't like to go on crowded days. I have the gold pass because I don't want to go on spring break and I don't want to go around Christmas. So it's no problem for me to miss those days. But a very crowded day that I love is the 4th of July at Epcot. And part of that is the Voices of Liberty does a special performance. They do a few special performances on the 4th of July at Epcot. And they're the most touching thing that you could ever see. It's amazing. That's worth all the crowds. And then the fireworks at Epcot on the 4th of July are you can actually see them or hear them from the Magic Kingdom, and you hear from whatever they do over at the studios. And then Epcot's that was cute, guys. Watch this. We're just going to have explosions for a half hour straight, so you can't even have a conversation with anyone. It's amazing.
I love the Voices of Liberty. They're always so nice.
Someone in the chat said he cost $10,000 to book for a wedding. I'm guessing they're talking about Yeehaw Bob.
Yeah, maybe. If you can get it, why not?
Yeah, right.
He's a professional guy. He's very well known throughout. I mean, he's performed for thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and he's got to travel there and he's got to do all this, and he's probably skipping a day of work to do it, or maybe 2 days of work to do it. I don't think $10,000 is that ridiculous for a professional entertainer who carries a bit of notoriety.
Richard Cheese
to play at Richard Cheese does. Yeah, wow.
Richard Cheese. Doug just put Richard Cheese, so I'm guessing he was talking about him.
Well, you get what you can get, man. He's the same thing, right? The reason he charges $10,000 is because he can get it.
Yeah.
How much does he charge for a divorce?
That's where you should have your divorce photo session at Catastrophe Canyon. That would be perfect.
What would you do for that? What else would you do for a divorce?
A divorce photo session.
Bob.
I don't know about Bob. I don't know about that, but you could definitely. There's some great photo session ideas for a divorce photo session.
Haunted mansion. You're in the graveyard.
Yeah.
The wife there with an axe.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh my God! Mandy said, getting your groom trampled by the big ball in Indiana Jones.
This sounds spectacular.
Frozen, let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go would be good. You could put the wife up there with Elsa and the husband in the boat, and she does the when he goes backwards flying.
Oh yes.
You get your papers presented to you at the end of the ride.
Yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're chasing them with the broom.
Yeah. Well, they changed it, or they could have just auctioned off the wife. We're getting inappropriate today. It's okay. It's okay. We're allowed to. I think. We don't have a very big audience. We can't get in too much trouble, right? 74 people today. That's not bad.
So yeah, just to clarify, Doug was talking about Richard. His brother actually was trying to book him, and it's $10,000 to perform, plus you have to cover his travel expenses and lodging.
Wow. Courtney asked a good question. What's everyone's Disney wedding songs? What's a good Disney wedding song? You know one I've seen a lot, that not at Disney weddings, just in general, that's a Disney song, is Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
That's cute.
Yeah. Cute one.
Yeah.
We had 2 live performers at ours, and when we came down the aisle, they sang I See the Light from Tangled. And our first dance was, that was a good one. The first dance was A Whole New World. And then when the ceremony was done and left the aisle, they played the Phantasmic exit music, which I thought was
cute.
Yeah.
Was this a Disney wedding, or was there a wedding at your hometown? You just played the.
It was up here in Canada, but we put some Disney stuff into it. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
It's great.
We did.
Oh, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So yeah, with the purpose of the Phantasmic walking out of this ceremony was we got engaged at Phantasmic, kind of in the crowd there. So it kind of the whole thing kind of started with that, and then the ceremony ended with the same music. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I could tell you what we had. For the ceremony, we walked down to I See the Light, which is a popular choice.
Yeah.
Of course, because you had a Tangled theme wedding.
For our entrance, we entered to Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. And our first dance was If I Didn't Have You, the song from the end of Monsters, Inc.
Okay.
Good choice.
Those were our wedding songs.
That sounds great. Did you just play the song, or did you have someone performing them live, or?
For the first dance song?
For your wedding, when you came, did you say you came to Ice?
So for I See the Light, we had a solo harpist. For entering for Carousel of Progress, we just had somebody play the song. And then for the first dance, we found somebody that did kind of like an acoustic guitar version of that song, and we had somebody hit play on that, so that was cute.
Do you guys ever listen to like Vitamin String Quartet? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they play like these orchestral versions of modern popular music. I think they're great.
I love them. They're great. I love them a lot. Duel of the Fates. It's a Me Party from the Muppets. We're getting a lot of really good ones for wedding songs.
Good job, Mandy. I like that.
Having the bride come down to the aisle to the Imperial March. I'll bet you that has happened. I'll bet you anything that has happened.
That's a choice, by the way. Like, they give you a list of Disney songs that you can choose, or you can choose your own, and I think that's one of them. You can have people come down to the Imperial March. So did you get married at the Disney Weddings chapel there, or did you have like one of the intimate weddings? Go ahead. For the wedding pavilion, you have to have like a lot of venues have an amount that you have to meet. So you have to have at least this number of people if you wanted to book the wedding pavilion itself, but we had a smaller wedding. So we had ours at the at Seabreeze Point on the boardwalk. It's at that gazebo. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's near the ESPN restaurant. Yeah, and that means that was where our ceremony was. They really limit the amount of people you can have if you do that, right? Is it like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We had like 20. I think our final number was 18 people. It was small. Yeah, I think that because a lot of our families coming down from New York, New Jersey.
That's where my roommates got married in.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice. It's a very nice location. And then our ceremony was in the attic, which is above the boardwalk. It's above Jelly Rolls, actually. Yeah. Hey. Hold on, I have breaking news. Butters is out on the porch and she saw someone walk by. So, is that right, Butters? Yeah, there we go. Good job, Butters. Thank you. Lee's out there making sure that she stays put. Says, thank you, Butters, for keeping us safe. Let us know. Let us know if there are any more burglars coming. Okay. Thanks. I'll bet business is really down for burglars right now with everybody home.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right?
Car theft,
Probably-
everything. Yeah.
Very concerned.
Car theft might be on the rise. I don't know.
Oh no.
Car theft might be on the rise because, like I got in my car to go somewhere on Monday. I hadn't been in it since like Thursday or something. Who knows? I didn't even looked at it. It's got a nice little layer of pollen on it. That's about it. It seems to be damaged.
Yeah.
My roommate put gas like yesterday morning, and she said it was cheap. And I was like, wow,
Oh, it's
I
$1.
gotta go put gas. Like,
No, I looked yesterday.
Yeah,
I
it's
drove,
like-
or the day before. I drove past someplace here in Orlando. It was like $1.83 or something like that a gallon.
Yeah.
It's 59
Like,
cents
I think
here
I
right
saw
now.
it for like 160 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I have to buy the expensive gas. For some reason, my manual on my car says I have to buy the expensive stuff. So I should probably load up now. The car's just sitting there on half empty. It has been for a while. So, well, that's,
oh, I have a song. I'm not married. I didn't get married, but there's a song that I've always liked. It's called "Beautiful," and it's Jim Brickman, and the one who sings it is Wayne Brady. Cool song. It was on I think Cinderella Special Edition or something. Cinderella
Right.
2, Cinderella 3. I don't know. One of the Cinderella movies. But Wayne Brady sings a song, and it's actually a really good song. I like it.
Wayne Brady. He's a local Orlando guy who made good, right?
Yeah.
Is he from Orlando? Wow.
He went to. His Wikipedia says he's from Columbus, Georgia, but I'm almost positive he went to Dr. Phillips High School.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I know he worked at Universal. There's a bunch of pictures of him. If you look up the Ghostbusters at Universal Orlando, he used to be one of the Ghostbusters.
Oh.
Huh.
I think I read that Matchbox 20 was from Orlando, which I never knew.
I believe so as well, if I'm not mistaken. My brother used to love that band.
I
Yeah.
think we saw Matchbox 20 at Pleasure Island at the New Year's Eve thing they did like years and years and years ago.
I saw Weird Al there
yeah.
once.
Did he? Yeah.
Oh, who doesn't miss Pleasure Island? I at least miss the Adventurers Club. I liked Pleasure Island. I'm sad that it's gone.
Yeah, same.
I honestly like the stuff I get it. The stuff that's replaced it is like STK, which I think is pretty much universally panned as overpriced and not that interesting. That was over across from the Adventurers Club. Now they have the Edison or whatever, and it's fine. I go in there, it's great. But every time if I go downstairs, I sit at that bar and I just look and I'm like, wow, that used to be like where the stairs were, where you come down to the Adventurers Club. This isn't that neat. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, who doesn't miss the Adventurers Club, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm missing it.
maybe you guys that are young. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I wish.
It was fun. I like getting that
Like everything
wristband
that I hear,
and go like popping.
Yeah.
everything I hear from it is just like, yeah, I would have loved this.
Yeah.
Lee recommended the song "So Close" from Enchanted.
Oh.
Yeah,
love
that's a
that
good
song.
one.
I'm sure I've heard it. I can't based on a title just run it through my head, but
Yeah.
I'm
I love
sure
that
I'm
movie.
sure
Can I
Chris
tell
knows
you
this one as being.
Tell you a fun fact
You love that
about
movie?
Enchanted.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yes, please.
I'm in that movie.
Wait, what?
You're in it?
What?
Yeah.
And you can like see you?
Yes, because I used to live in New York, I did background work, so I'm an extra. I'm in the scene where she's singing "That's How You Know," and the brides and grooms are dancing. I'm in the Central Park
Yes.
area. I'm
Really?
filming it.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
That's so good.
Great.
So yeah,
You gotta go
so
back.
I'm in.
Yep.
I got
Sign
what?
up. Alan Menken just announced that he's working on music for Disenchanted, which is going to be the sequel to Enchanted.
Mhm.
So hey,
Yeah,
Alan
know,
Menken
I was
did
just-
that one, right?
I know. I was just thinking, like, how do I become an extra in this too? Because now I feel like I have
Right?
to.
that's
I have
so
to do
cool.
Wow.
Maybe
I'm
you
gonna
just
have to
write him a
look
letter
into
and
that.
say, "Hey, you probably remember me. I'm Allison the extra. I'm available if you want me to do it again."
Screenshot it and send it to him.
Put that on my resume.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that is good.
True, yeah.
That's good.
It was a lot of fun.
I think that qualifies you for being a headlining act at Flower and Garden next year. Like she's
right.
extra.
Yes. do I get my own? I get my own booth, and then I get to perform on stage and everything. That'd be great.
You're part of the Garden Rocks. You're a part of the like middle tier of the Garden Rocks performers.
Yeah.
As someone who was once an extra in a Disney movie. I'm
That'd
sorry.
be perfect. I perform my greatest hits, such as sort of nodding along to the music, clapping, walking. Yeah, those are all my hits from the movie.
That's even better. You don't even sing the song. You just react to it.
No, I just react to it. You just smile and nod and look like you're having a great time, and that's it. And then you get paid a nominal amount of money.
And there's worse ways to make a living than being in Disney movies, I guess.
Sure. And the actor who played Nathaniel, Timothy Spall, he was rocking around. Nobody cared about him. He was laying down in the grass in Central Park, and I was like, "Hey, my mom was like, have you been in movies before?" And he's like, "Actually, I've been in about 40 movies." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And we got a picture with him. Everybody was ignoring him. They were all over Patrick Dempsey because he was like the big thing then. So
I'm the worst at recognizing famous people. I'm the worst. I have probably like stood in line for rides or something with famous people, and don't know. Lee is great at it. Lee's like, "Oh, that's so and so, and he was in this in 1983, and then he took a break from comedy for 20 years and came back and appeared on the whatever." She knows all that stuff. I'm the opposite of it. I once stood next to someone who won American Idol in the Apple Store and had no idea until someone told me. So it's like. Okay, well, I didn't know.
It's American Idol.
I don't know who Jordan Sparks is, but that seems like a cool story.
Oh, never mind. It was Jordan Sparks, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't know who it was, man.
Somebody said that I'm almost as famous as Butters.
Oh, wow. Kevin, you want to check on her real quick? We can have Allison versus Butters. Who recognizes? Who's more recognizable? I don't know. Isn't she well behaved? Just sitting. All right, Chris, are you going to join us for the second hour? Are you out of here?
I wish I could. I have to. Yeah, I gotta. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm going upstairs to go take care of the kid. Yeah.
Hey, you got stuff to do. Allegedly, Pete Carney will be joining us soon. In the meantime, first, before we cut to the commercial break, I want to give a quick plug to WIGS. That's the WDW Interglobe Society. That is our Patreon group that helps keep WDWNT going. I'd like to encourage you guys to go and try to join to be a WIGS member. You can do it for as little as $2 a month. You get bonus content. If you go onto Patreon, even if you were to join WIGS right now for $2, you could go on patreon.com /WDWNT. But if you were to go on there now, you can see all the post-show content we do for a lot of our shows that we have, such as Park Center and WDW News Tonight. They have post-show content where the staff interacts a little bit more casually and directly with the WIGS members. You get exclusive content, opportunities to attend events, things like that. We're really trying to push this to try to, make sure everybody's aware of that the WIGS program is available. Please check it out. For as little as $2 a month, you can get all this exclusive content and more. I'm sure people in the chat, there's plenty of WIGS members there that can tell you whether they recommend it or not. I usually see that they recommend it. Also, you can donate within the YouTube chat. There's a little dollar sign that you'll see. You can donate like 99 cents for a sticker or whatever. There's stickers, and there's what's called a super chat. So a sticker gives you a cute little animal that you can display up in the chat, and this goes to WDWNT to support our staff. We have some full-time staff members that really need our support right now. So do that, or you can do a super chat, which it gives you, a highlighted comment, which I don't think we've had a super chat on this show before. Maybe we have. I'm not sure. That would be cool. Anyway, we're going to cut away to a commercial. We'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Hopefully with Pete Carney, maybe not. Maybe we'll just give Butters her own window if Pete doesn't show up. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a little bit.
From the people who brought you the Disney Parks Home Edition, we now present the 2020 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, Eric's Apartment Edition. It may be dreary in quarantine for millions of people around the world, but in Eric's apartment, spring is alive. From the comfort of your own home, or from 6 feet or more away if you are deemed an essential employee of the apartment, we will bring you videos of this stuff. And whatever these are. And don't forget these things with the towels. You can even catch a glimpse of our experiments gone wrong. We truly have it all. Plastic plants, dead plants, plants from IKEA, and even plants that have been watered sometimes. And don't forget about our event-exclusive merchandise. Next, spoil yourself before you soil yourself with exclusive food and beverage items from our Bear Cupboard Quarantine selection, like this refreshing vodka with Crystal Light offered at our patio kiosk. Or let your imagination run wild, creating concoctions with Fireball, rum chata, and chocolate liqueur in the office. Our mixologists aren't done blowing your minds yet. Check out our bourbon mixed with ice creations in the master bedroom. And don't forget beer people left behind at our last gathering over at the bookshelf. Outside the guest room, our straight tequila shots will have you wondering if this whole quarantine was just a dream. And of course, be transported far away with wine from all 3 regions of the apartment. Over in the kitchen, our chefs are working on some truly groundbreaking cuisine, like our famous 2-day-old Rotel Dip. Have we teased your appetite enough? Then try some of our delicious frozen treats, which include Hot Pockets and ice cream from last Christmas. Finally, get ready to rock out at our Garden Rocks concert series, featuring Butters, whose mom is friends with a woman who used to run a live music venue where ELO once played. You may know her from her hits such as Mr. Pooh Sky and Last Train to Barksville. We have all this and more at the 2020 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, Eric's Apartment Edition, where the magic is on hold until further notice.
My 4th Disney trip of 2020 was canceled, and my one-woman authorized travel agency isn't getting any business with this closure. Help me, Ganondola.
Was your 500th in a lifetime Disney vacation canceled? Are you being selfish during a world crisis and want restitution for your losses as a travel agent? Call 1-777-777-7777 for the law offices of Gon and Dola.
Hello, I'm Bud G. Gunn.
And I'm Roz Dola.
How dare the Walt Disney Company cancel your dream vacation? We say you make them pay for it.
We'll fight for you until you get a complimentary stay inside the Cinderella Castle Suite, because your trip cancellation is more important than anyone else's.
We may all be practicing social distancing, but why don't you try some money closening?
We'll even get you some extra fast passes.
It's going to be so busy when the parks reopen that you're going to need them.
Do you even believe what you're saying anymore?
Nope.
Gon and Dola also handle wrongful termination cases for CEOs appointed just before a global crisis, where the former CEO knew it was coming. Call 1-777-777-7777 for you to get the justice you don't actually need right now.
All of the Disney theme parks in the world are closed, but that doesn't mean the magic has to end. Your home can become the place where dreams come true with Disney Parks, the Home Edition. This massive box comes with everything you need to create the Disney theme park experience at home.
Wow! What's in it?
Inside you'll find items such as a collection of easy-to-assemble park icons.
Insert tab 2 into hole 5. Then insert tab 5 into hole 7. Then...
Is it ready yet?
No, son. It turns out that it's hard to build a geodesic sphere out of cardboard.
It's okay, honey. We can just project one on the wall.
Queue stanchions so you can wait in line 90 minutes for a ride.
Something's dripping on my leg. Dad, are you peeing?
I had to go. We've been here for an hour and I had the entire $4 bottle of water expansion pack.
An inflatable tour guide and his group who passed you in line.
Hey, where do they think they're going?
Honey, they paid for it.
And I didn't?
We're staying at the All-Stars.
Yeah, for $150 a night. When I was your age, it was a nickel.
A plastic churro.
It's really hard.
It's close enough to the real thing at Disney World.
You're only supposed to take pictures and then throw it out.
Here, dear, have some complimentary bread.
A wet mop so you can draw characters on your driveway.
There. It's finished.
Is that Wally?
It's Mickey Mouse.
Maybe from Runaway Railway.
This pack also includes an entire 4-course meal from Tony's Town Square restaurant for you to throw directly into the trash. Don't worry, that's where we found it in the first place. A downloadable app where you can miss getting a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance and never get a fast pass for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Watch Song of the South as your friends judge you and spray you with a water bottle. Plus, Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle. No, not a recreation, the whole ride. It's cheap enough and not very complicated, so why not just send you the whole thing?
Dad, nothing in this ride moves.
Son, it came out of a box. What did you expect?
From the creators of Clue, Disney Parks Edition comes an all-new version of the board game you love, themed to a park you're trying to continue loving. It's Sorry, the Epcot Edition, and whoa boy, do kids love it.
Wowie, the whole board is themed to my favorite attractions from before I was born, and whatever is left of the park.
How do we play?
It's easy. Just roll the dice, move your piece, and draw one of the event cards.
Spaceship Earth is getting redone.
All right.
With no sponsor, and it will be about storytelling. Sorry.
Wait, so the card says sorry? What does that mean?
It means we're just sorry, okay? We're trying our best here.
Are you really, though? Figment is back, but Dreamfighter is dead. Sorry.
Club Cool is coming back, but you have to wait for 4 years. Sorry.
There's a restaurant in space, but it only serves the Maria and Enzo's menu. Sorry. So, how do you win?
You can't win. There is no winning.
I feel like this is about more than a board game.
Sorry, the Epcot Edition. Available at Mouse Gear and all new sterile white gift shops at Disney Parks.
Welcome back. Now Kevin's been here all along, but now he joins us on video. Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Good. I think Pete Carney probably got stuck in, well, he can't say he was stuck in traffic. He didn't have anywhere else to go. So I'm going to assume that Pete's asleep. So anyway, if Pete may join us, he may not. I don't know. In the meantime, Kevin, thanks for popping in. I was just thinking about something that, I want to get to our another one of our discussion topics later. But one thing I was thinking about was just ways that people are passing the time while they're locked in. And what made me think about it is actually Kevin has joined us and a few of the rest of us. I don't think Allison and Eric joined us once, right? We've been playing the Jackbox. We've been playing the Jackbox games. So if you enjoy the Jackbox games, that's a good way to pass the time. For those that don't know how it works, they have a number of different games you can play. Unfortunately, right now, due to distance, you can't really all play them in the same room. So you need a teleconference app, like we use Zoom, and we'll just get people into our Zoom chat, and we'll launch the game from there. I'll share my screen, whoever has the Jackbox games, and then everybody can answer the questions on their smartphone, going to the jackbox.tv website, and you get a unique login for your game. And there's a ton of really fun games. And yesterday, I think we started playing about, 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And next thing I knew, it was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I don't know what time we got done, but it's a good time. And you can have up to, I think, 8 or 10 people, depending on the game. And it's a good time to pass the time. If you guys have any other recommendations for ways to pass the time, obviously, you could stream the whole Disney Plus library is one way of doing it.
Yeah, right.
But go ahead and put them down in the chat. Would be more than happy to hear it.
Yeah, I was going to add onto your what you were saying about the Jackbox games. The cool thing is that even if you have more people than the 8 or the 10, the other people start becoming just audience members, which is cool because then the people that play get bonus points. Yeah, you can vote on
audience can vote,
your favorite and stuff. So that was actually fun. I got to do that for one round. So yeah,
some of the games you're making jokes or you're given some situation that you have to put a couple words in to try to morph it into something probably inappropriate, and people vote on who gave the best answer, and the audience members who are not playing the game can actually watch all that happen and vote, which is probably just as fun as playing the games. But anyway, that's one recommendation we have. Someone did ask me, or someone did post in the chat that I was drinking Coronas today. That is true. Pete was the inspiration. Lee made a run to the store, and I said, try the Coronas. I want to give them a shot, see what they're like. And so far, so good. That's not my type of thing. I usually just drink bourbon or maybe beer or vodka mixed with something. But these are not too bad. I kind of like them. I don't like the mango, but all the other flavors have been good on the Corona seltzer. This is tropical lime. The one I held up was blackberry lime. They like their limes over there at Corona. But it's not too bad. Thanks, Pete, for the recommendation. I like them better than White Claw. Is that sacrilege? No, I think Pete likes them better than White Claw too, right? So
yeah, he does now.
He's been drinking a lot of them if he doesn't like them more.
Yeah. More Beverly, please said, I've been passing my time eating. I can't say I recommend it.
I saw that one. That's such a good one.
We talked about this the other night. We're going to call it the COVID-19 is the 19 pounds that you put on while you're in lockdown. Like the old Freshman 50, we have the COVID-19. So the next topic of discussion I wanted to talk about was just the quiet places to get away. And what I mean is it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you're on a Disney vacation. You're with probably a lot of people whose expectations are high, and everybody has a different expectation of what they want to get done, what they want to do. And inevitably it turns into you kind of having to roll your eyes, bite your tongue every now and then, and just try to keep everybody happy. I found what works best for me in those situations is to just for a few minutes, I like to disappear to a spot. I can go to the Disney parks and just sit on a bench. I'm fine. I don't need to stand in a queue. I don't need to do a line. I don't need to do all these attractions. I've done them all, right? I'm a local. I like to sometimes just go there for a little peace and quiet. And an example I gave the guys earlier today is it's like the porch at Miss Polly's, right? You go out there, Tom Sawyer Island, walk back there. There's a little building. There's a porch. At least it used to have rocking chairs on it. I don't know how it is today. I haven't been there in about a year, but that's a great place to just relax. I remember one time I was relaxing, and this is back when my brother and I were going to do some sort of podcast or something where I was collecting audio from the parks. I had those he had the binaural microphones, and we're sitting there recording, relaxing, rocking back and forth, and then the riverboat horn went, and I jumped out of my chair, and I just about died. But that's a great place to just go and relax. It's shady. Hopefully you get a little breeze, and it's nice and quiet, and you can see a lot going on from there and enjoy being in the parks without being in the fray, so to speak. What about you, Allison? Do you have any recommendations?
I do. I wrote down 4. I can tell you what my top one is if you're interested in that one.
Yeah. We may have time to circle back to all of them.
Oh, sure. So unfortunately, my top one no longer exists, of course. It was my favorite spot on Disney property to relax of all time. When somebody would say, hey, where would you want to be right now? I want to be here. So it would be at night in Epcot, right between Spaceship Earth and the pin stop, kind of looking at the fountain where you can kind of see the floors and they have the lights going on.
The light up fiber optic.
And you can just hear the fiber optics.
Yeah, those are great.
And you can hear the Innoventions area music after, walking all over the place around World Showcase and Future World and just sitting there and just taking it all in, relaxing. That was my favorite spot to relax in the world, but unfortunately it's gone now.
Yeah. Eric.
That's a good one. So I have a couple written down as well. I'll give you one. It's the Tree of Life Garden Trail. So there's some little trails just around the Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom, and some of them, just have little spots for you to sit down. Some of them have, if you're doing the Wilderness Explorers, there might be 1 or 2 of those there, but it's just an area that's really weird because it's essentially really close to an attraction, but it's so secluded from everything else in the park that it's actually very quiet, and you can just relax there. So that's actually one of mine.
They do a great job of that. They do a great job of that, of making you feel like you're in a secluded place even when you're close to a lot of action. And that's in all the parks. Well, maybe not as much in Epcot, but throughout the parks you see that. Kevin.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I wasn't prepared for this. So I'm the kind of person, I don't like to just go off to the side and hide. Like if I'm there, I want to be somewhere, but I think there's also like attractions where you can do that. So like Carousel of Progress, to me, that's a very relaxing and calming thing, even though it's not, a hidden corner. It's a place you can unwind, sit down.
Yeah. We used to call the before the Rio del Tiempo got rethemed as the Three Caballeros, we used to call it the Rio del Napo. You go on the Rio, let's go hop on the Rio and take a little nap. Nice quiet place to be. It only takes you a minute to load, and the ride's only about maybe 5 or 10 minutes long, but it takes usually about 10 minutes to unload. So you got plenty of time there, sitting in a boat in the unloading area, waiting to get off. You catch a couple Z's there.
Very true.
Yeah.
I got one from Butters. Butters said the second floor at the Contemporary.
Ooh.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Butters. Yeah, second floor of the Contemporary. Good place to chill out. Is that where the Outer Rim is? Is that right? Where the Outer Rim bar is? Talk about a quiet place. Oh, there she is, Butters. Yeah, second floor of the Contemporary. All right, that was a recommendation. Do we have anything that came in from the chat? Let's see. Oh, between Mission Space and Universe of Energy. Yep. Thanks, Courtney. That's a good spot.
Japan Cultural Exhibit Space. That's a good one.
Yeah, the Japan Cultural Exhibit Space. And Andrew said outside of the convention area at the Contemporary. So for those that don't know, we've discussed it ad nauseum, or Pete and I have, the convention area at the Contemporary. The Ballroom of the Americas is where Richard Nixon gave his famous "I'm not a crook" speech. So there's a little history for you. And honestly, you could probably, if there's nothing going on at the Contemporary, you could probably walk into that ballroom. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a good bit of Disney trivia that Pete will always drop, is the "I'm not a crook" speech from the Ballroom of the Americas, the Contemporary. And the other bit that Pete will, for the monorail loop, other good trivia is that the Beatles officially broke up at the Polynesian. They had been kind of already de facto broken up before, but John and Yoko were there on vacation at the Contemporary, and the lawyer showed up, and that's where they signed the papers to dissolve the Beatles. So we've probably touched on that every week. It's still good trivia. Hi, Butters. She's, yeah. Oh, someone's got her attention. What is it? What is it? No one tell us. Okay. She said, "I need a haircut." That's what it is.
Would you ever just shave her?
No, but her normal. If you go to her Instagram, there are some pics that I underscore Butters right there. There are some pictures of her with really short hair. She looks like a little teddy bear when she got a haircut. She's awful cute. It's hard to stay mad at her when she does something bad or when she goes crazy barking and you don't know why, and you're like, you know what? It's hard to stay mad at you when you look at me like this. She's a good one. She's very bossy, but she's pretty chill today. I think Lee's working out on the patio, so Butter, as long as she's right there by you, she would not tolerate being on the ground. If you're working on a desk right there, she will demand to be on the desk or in your lap. We can go for a second round of these. Allison, you said you had a few of these lined up for a nice, quiet, relaxed spot.
So my next one that I wrote down does not take place, is not in Disney World. Is that fine? Yeah.
Why not? There's no rules here. Are you kidding me? You seen this show? We spent like 2 hours last week talking about non-Disney movies.
Oh, well, I mean, like, my spot is a Disney thing, but it's not in Disney World itself. It's actually on the cruise.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's even better.
Nice.
So I've been on the cruise many times. I think it's actually 7 times at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7. And
7?
Yes. Yes, 7. So there's definitely a lot of kids that are running around. It's not as bad as you would expect it to be because there's a lot of kids clubs, but you still kind of need a spot to sit and relax that is really, really quiet. And there is a spot on one of the top decks where the pool deck is. It's called the Cove Cafe, and it's by where the adult only pool is, and then it's a coffee spot only for adults, and they make specialty coffees and specialty teas, and they have like mini pastries that you can just kind of open up and grab. And it's very, very quiet in there, even though there's the kids family pool is almost right outside and the adult pool is right on the other side. Once those doors close to the little Cove Cafe, it's very quiet, very relaxing. There's pictures of Walt Disney and his family on the walls. There's some magazines, and it's just very, very relaxing. So that's one of my top relaxation areas on the cruise ship.
Yeah, my first Disney cruise was on the Magic, which is my favorite Disney ship, and my stateroom was directly beneath the Cove. So it was a very short walk for me to just hop right up there. I was right underneath it. That's a good spot. That's a good recommendation. There are a lot of spots on those cruise lines that people like. You'll always see people sitting in those giant, like oversized porthole windows that have the kind of padding on them where you can just sit by the window. Those are always fun.
That's nice.
Yeah, cruise lines have a lot of great places to get away. You would be surprised at how quiet it can be when you're cooped up on a ship with thousands of people. But you can definitely find the spots. Eric, you had another one written down already.
Yeah, I did. So we are going to Disney's Riviera Resort, and there's a little lounge area called the Voyagers Lounge. It has some books. It has some tables. It's really nice and like it's darkly lit. There's some board games, minor little board games on the tables, but it's just such a nice area. Just to sit, just to relax for a little bit, and it's not that, there's not that much noise going on. So I really liked that place right there.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that place, they also have. I haven't hung out in there too much, but they have menus on the tables there. So do they have a server, or is that a menu you can walk to the place next door and order something, or how does that work?
So because I went when we did our review, at the time, I actually do not remember. If I'm not mistaken, there were menus, but there is also like a dessert, I would say, kind of like a small little cafe.
There's like a pastry counter.
To it.
Like a pastry counter.
There we go, a pastry counter. Yeah, connected to it.
It's like the type of stuff you would see in a Starbucks in the glass case. Little.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can grab something from there. You can go in there. You can just sit, relax. It's really nice.
There are a lot of places, if you look on property, where they're like rocking chairs set up that you never see people sitting in, that are actually great spots. And there's a balcony outside of the Bellevue at the boardwalk, and there's never anyone sitting on that balcony. That's a great. They have the same type of balconies. Like, is it Pizza Rizzo? Pizza Rizzo has like that balcony there that you can go out on, and there's never anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have.
That means you'd have to walk to the Pizza Rizzo.
They have terrible pizza, and they have a room up there that looks like a New Jersey prom. But it's kind of cool.
Yes, it does.
Cool. I apologize. I seem to be singling out the great state of New Jersey. Sorry, Garden State. I'm not trying to pick on you guys today, but it does look like a New Jersey prom in that room upstairs to Pizza Rizzo. That's a great spot too. The NBA experience would be a great place there's nobody around.
There's nobody around. In there. You're very quiet. Guaranteed you'll be the only one there.
Yeah. We often go to Splitsville when we're at Disney Springs. Now this brings in bars and lounges, which of course we've done a lot of, but I really like the kind of chill atmosphere at the upstairs bar at Splitsville too. It's really relaxing and quiet. It's very, very rarely crowded. So I gravitate
to go there.
I gravitate towards the places where there's not a big crowd. So the same thing would be with like the Turf Club. Is it called the Turf Club at Saratoga Springs, where they have all the jockey like jerseys hanging in frames there? It's always quiet. It's never crowded.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Couches and board games and all that kind of stuff to do, which who doesn't like sitting on a couch and playing a board game?
Sitting on a couch, yep.
We're all kind of doing it professionally now. Kevin likes to be out in the action, though, it sounds like. Kevin's not a duck away and chill type of guy.
Not so much, but I was thinking about what Eric said and what we talked about a week or two ago, and like Geyser Point at Wilderness Lodge. That's one where you're going to have people around you because it's a great spot. But with all the surroundings outdoors, I mean, it's beautiful.
It's never overcrowded. There's a great little breeze there.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's a great place where you're not avoiding humanity completely, but you can kick back with a drink, and it's a pretty chill atmosphere.
Somebody in the chat said my spot is the Tiki Room under new management. Gilbert Gottfried's voice is like ASMR.
Yeah, nothing beats Gilbert Gottfried's voice. If you want to relax, go no place else.
That's the first voice that comes to mind.
I like the people mover, and I realize it's an attraction. You might have to wait in line for a while, but that's a good place to chill. You're not missing anything if you get involved in your conversation. There's interesting stuff to look at, but you go inside, you go outside. It's warm, it's cool. It's slow moving and easy. A good place to have a conversation. I like to interact with the people I'm with. So like watching them scream everyone scream their heads off on a roller coaster or something is okay every now and then, but why not go? You're there to be together, right? Why not go to a place where you can talk?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kona Cafe.
Yeah.
I've actually never eaten here. I've walked past it a million times. But Kona Cafe.
Yeah?
Not too bad. There's a bunch of places there at Polynesian to chill. You can walk, you can walk out the one direction towards the Grand Floridian, and there's all kinds of stuff to see. You can walk out there towards the Seven Seas Lagoon. There's all kinds of stuff to see there. There's obviously the terrace outside Trader Sam's is a great place to relax especially if it's open, where they got the guy playing a ukulele and singing. A million places to relax. Great places you can take good photographs there too. Oh, we have our first
Abby.
sticker, a super sticker from Abby.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right, Abby, thank you very much. $9.99. That's
it.
amazing. Thank you. That will. We have now quadrupled the total revenue this show has produced over the course of 3 weeks with a single donation.
Woo.
Thank you, Abby. Yeah.
Thank you, Abby.
I thought you were. Oh, there's Butters. Butters thanks you as well.
Butters
Thanks,
appreciates it.
Thank you from Butters. Yeah, Butters appreciates it. She's big on money. Who else has pets that are like loving this being shut in thing? Does anybody's like pets not eating this up? Like, oh my God, because Butters flips out when anybody leaves the house. And now that there's always someone here, she just can't get enough of it. This is probably COVID-19 was probably developed by dogs to make sure that people could be stuck in their house with it. It is amazing.
I was just about to say, because I've seen a lot of people like online saying that their cats are just over it. But everyone that has dogs is like, oh, my dogs are loving it.
Yeah, cats just kind of tolerate people. I remember reading something like some meme a few years ago that was like, a dog would be like, oh, waking up, my favorite thing. Oh, breakfast, my favorite thing. Oh, my human taking me for a walk. Everything was their favorite thing all day long. And the cat's like day recap started with like, day 1144 of my captivity commences. I almost managed to kill my human by running under their feet at the top of the stairs. I'll have to remember this. They're just different. Yeah. This is great. All dogs love. Yeah, David says all dogs love this. I believe that. All 100% of dogs love it. Do you have any pets, Allison?
I don't have any here, but my mom has a dog and a guinea pig. So the dog, I'll be on the phone with my mom and I'll hear the dog whining if she stops petting her for 2 seconds. And my mom's like, I am here all day. I just want to be on the phone. I have to fold laundry, please. We're good. And apparently the guinea pig is also very happy. She's become with guinea pigs, the more you socialize with them, the more friendly they're going to become. And she's become a lot more eager to trying to jump out of the cage to meet my mom and things like that. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of cute to hear that the guinea pig is really wanting her attention and being eager to be pet and stuff like that. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Eric, you have any pets?
So I have a dog. I have a little hot dog. His name is Charlie, but he's down in Miami with my mom.
Yeah. I had a dog that stayed with my mom when I was in the Marine Corps. Well, it was our family dog, but I missed it the whole time I was in the Marines. Of course, I can't have a pet when I'm in the barracks, but we had a dog, Stuart, that it was my mom at my mom's house, but I always considered it my dog forever.
Nice.
How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I got Henry. He was on the pet show
for
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Henry the cat, for those who don't know. He's kind of like a dog. What was that?
He's kind of like a dog. I said I don't see him hopping around behind you like most cats would be trying to knock you off.
He was in here a little bit earlier. I had to bribe him to do that show. But no, he's he's independent like a cat, but he doesn't get snooty about it.
Yeah.
Independent cat don't need no man.
Well, that is the one thing you can say about cats, and everybody knows this. If you go someplace, you want to go on vacation, it's a chore and it's expensive to do something with your dog, right? You're going to have to take that dog to a kennel someplace and pay him, I don't know, $65 a day or whatever it is for a dog to be boarded. A cat, you could feasibly give them a couple clean litter boxes and a pile of food and go away for a week, and the cat's just fine without you. You know, I don't know if that's a dog. Like you have to either take them someplace or you kick them into the trunk of your car and go on a runaway railway adventure.
But you only kick them by mistake.
You only kick them by mistake. Apparently, poor Pluto
Allegedly
was only kicked by mistake. Allegedly, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. That was Alice's first voice. Was that your first voiceover? Was the Mickey runaway Mickey?
That was my second.
If you guys
voice,
saw the episode if you guys saw the episode of News Tonight where Colleen is holding up the Mickey Mouse makes an appearance and it's like the smartphone with the Mickey Mouse cardboard cutout, that's Allison's voice. That was Allison's Mickey voice. She's very talented. Go ahead.
At the last minute, I was at the studio. It was my first day, and they're like, "We need somebody to do the Mickey voice. Can you do a Mickey voice?" And I'm like, and I did. And they're like, "You're Mickey." So I'm like, "All right, awesome." But that was my second voice. My first one was Rizzo the Rat.
Oh yeah, you did a perfect Rizzo in the Muppet light retheming of restaurants. That was great.
Yeah,
That was
so I've done Rizzo, Mickey, and the narrator for the game, the board game that where our commercial's about.
Oh yeah. I forgot it. Yeah, you did that as well. Yeah, Eric has done a million voices. You've been here long enough to be able to do all kinds of commercials.
It's funny that you guys mentioned the Muppets one because I did Pepe in that one, and then I sent in an animal and it wasn't used, and the animal was just cut, and then I was just like, okay, I get it, my animal wasn't good.
Who knows what Tom was up to?
Used.
Some of these things get thrown together very quickly on very short notice. So, I mean, like you said, the Mickey thing was like in the studio. Allison got to the studio that day, and they're like, "Hey, we just wrote this. Can someone do a Mickey Mouse voice?" And Allison's like, "Got it."
I love it. I love doing the voices. Keep sending them my way. I love doing it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, right.
Well, we are so fortunate to have someone with such a theatrical resume of having been an extra in the background of a dance scene in Enchanted. You know, it's not every day that you get this roping talent like that.
Should I start charging more for my appearances?
Yeah, I would say like I'm wowed at the talent that we have within the WDWNT community, and that is from like the technical team, the people that nobody ever sees, to the guys that do the graphics and the people that host the shows and the podcasts, and like the guests that Nathan can get on Dreamfinders is pretty impressive. Like Nathan does a great job with that, and all the people in Park Center with great insight. And a lot of these people, you know, they're taking time out of their busy days to do this and provide the content. It's really great. But I mean, until I really came on board, I wasn't aware of just how much went into everything, and you know how many talented people you have to make this happen. Just to turn the show on, we have to have someone every time. So Kevin has been doing that the last few weeks. Turning on the show is apparently a challenge for us sometimes. Not everybody can nail it every time, and Kevin's batting 1,000 for us. So we appreciate that, Kevin.
Thank you.
They know every time we start a show, I'm like, all right, I'm starting it. Wait 7 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, no. Someone said Allison and Eric should do a voice off. Yeah, I want to do a voice.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, and Tyler can do graphics, and Tyler can sing the Nothing or Something Has Stopped Us Now. Who played the ukulele? I forget who played the ukulele for that.
Wasn't that Nathan?
When we did it? No,
I don't think it was
Nathan.
No,
it was somebody else. I wish
because there is
I'll look.
There's like a step-by-step of how to play that song.
Yeah,
and I thought
we made a video like, showing you how to do it. But I don't believe it was Nathan. I believe Nathan wrote the lyrics to the song Tyler is singing.
Yeah, he wrote the lyrics.
Something Can Stop This Now. But there is a separate video that will teach you how to play Nothing Can Stop Us Now on the ukulele, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't have that. I don't have any talent. What am I doing here? You know, Pete just texted me. Let's see what Pete had to say.
All right.
Hey.
Okay, Pete is going to be joining us soon. So
Right.
That'll be good. He said he just woke up. Long night. It's hard to. There's a lot of energy. Pete has a lot of energy, which means he probably gets really tired. That's another thing. In addition to the talent, a guy like Pete, I didn't know what to expect when I first met Pete. I was like, man, I've seen this guy. He's like pretty loud and gregarious and funny, but I didn't know what to expect. And boom, like as soon as you meet Pete, you're like, oh, this guy is not fake. This guy is totally legitimate. He is just has that kind of like passion and zest for life. He brings all the energy. He lifts the energy up in the room when he comes in. So I'm thankful for all that. I've learned a lot. I've only been with the organization for like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 weeks, but the amount of people that we have and Jessica, all the stuff she does to keep the website going, it's just amazing.
She does a lot. I had no idea once I started that how much she does. She does a whole lot of stuff.
Jessica and Colleen like can legit build like real sets and like she built a puppet theater like that. Like she's like, I actually learned how to do this in college. I never thought I would use it, but here I am building puppet theaters professionally. Or her little UFO that she built, and she builds all these little knickknacks and things, and it's always great. And the show to me has been getting a lot better. Like it was always a great show and very popular, but it's been getting better and better, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. I mean, each week it seems like the graphics guys set the bar pretty high, and then they raise it again. So I don't know. I think like the first episode where I noticed it was when we did the space themed episode. Things kind of, especially like the graphics and the intro, it was like really good, really cool, really good, and it just got a little better. And the more that we work together and kind of learn how to collaborate, because we have people who are good with ideas and other people that are good at executing, and sometimes those people need to know how to find each other, so to speak.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Yeah, it's funny that you said that was. Say it again.
I was just going to say that was Rob Page, who's the head of our tech team that did the Nothing Can Stop Us Now ukulele.
There we go.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. You mentioned the space show. That show, that show just took that show just to a whole nother level. Because it was so like seamless how we did everything, like the costumes, like we had props, we had scenery, we had so much in that show. Well, but what's funny is worked out really well.
It was almost like they were ready to kill off the bee. They're like, all right, Tom's like, all right, the bee's never going to work as a bit. No more bee. And then the space show, and they're like, what if we had a space bee? And he's like, aha, boom, space bee. And then space bee's the hit, and the bee's back down.
I told the first day that I was there, I said that that the bee was my favorite character, and Tom's like, the bee is your favorite character? And Colleen's like, yes, this is the reason why we hired her. But legit, I love the bee. The bee is one of it's probably my favorite character. I love the bee so much. And nobody else can play the bee but Colleen. Like, I couldn't pull off the bee.
Right,
like, she's the bee. It has to be her.
There's a certain like deadpan tone that she nails when she does the bee that's really funny to me and unique. And there's always going to be like, we didn't even realize how much bee stuff there was associated with Disney until like Flower and Garden. You're like, oh look, they have this bee here, here's the bee merchandise,
Spike,
and here's a bee cupcake, Spike the bee, and next thing you know, Colleen's got like job security as a bee.
There's a lot of Joffrey's carts that are out there. You never know what other kinds of infestations you're gonna get.
There's no doubt about it. Bees and Joffrey's coffee are a combination. Hey, Kevin, would you mind? Can we go to a commercial for like just a real quick break, and then that will give maybe Pete time to get in here too. Do you have anything loaded up we can do for commercial? I hate to drop that on you last minute.
No, I do. We got the Muppets restaurant.
Yeah, let's do the Muppets restaurant.
You can hear us.
Yeah, you can hear some of our work.
With the success of Pizza Rizzo and the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, we here at Walt Disney Imagineering have learned that our guests love bad counter service food with minimal Muppets theming. So, here comes more Muppet eateries at Disney parks. Yay! At Disney's Hollywood Studios, grab a wrapped sausage at Rolf's Roasters. Rolf has relocated to the edge of the galaxy to pick up piano-playing gigs at Oga's. But the money hasn't been great, so Rolf the dog has started slinging dogs at Black Spire Outpost's hottest new wiener joint. If you're visiting Epcot in 2022, get ready for a lightly rethemed dining experience that somehow took us 2 years to complete. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Umbrella. Can you just picture that? Imagine eating a dry flatbread to saying goodbye while you sit there and think about all of your favorite things we've ripped out of this park. Are you excited? Well, we won't take no for an answer. Then, head on over to Disney Springs for a trio of Muppets eateries. Grab some barbecue at the Miss Polite Piggy, some affordable chicken tenders from Chicken Gonzo's, and stop by the West Side for Pepe by Pepe. And no, not Jose Andres.
Come have a sandwich, okay?
And at Disney's Animal Kingdom, our most popular concept is getting a second home. Be sure to visit Pizzafari after we finish converting it into Pizza Rizzo 2.
They're tourists. They don't know good pizza.
The Muppets. We won't do anything new with them, but let's plaster their images in the background of restaurants.
Are you tired of your monorail always sputtering to a stop?
I know I am.
You don't even have one.
Of course I do. It's the rusted paperweight out in the garage.
Well, if you're like me and my brother, you know how hard it can be to keep your monorail up and running, and that's why we're here to help you fix your monorail problems. So join us, Tick and Tack, the Patchett Brothers, for Monorail Talk every Saturday morning, and hear calls like this.
So, I have this old Mark IV monorail passed down from my grandparents, and I'd like to restore it.
Ooh, a Mark IV?
Yeah, but every time I turn it on, it makes a noise like wah, wah.
Yeah, whir noise, that's not good.
Not good at all. I think that's the coupler unit. Bob Gurr told me about the whir problem back in 76, so was it 78?
It was a long time ago either way.
So we're in the monorail, and the window just falls off.
How's that even happen? What'd they do, secure it with super glue?
More like crazy glue. But seriously, when it fell, did it hurt anyone?
Just a college program cast member, I think.
Well, they're a dime a dozen.
A dime a dozen?
Next caller is Bob from Burbank. Bob, welcome to Monorail Talk. How can we help you?
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Let's say I had a fleet of Mark VI monorails. I'm just curious, how long can I get away with running them until they, I don't know, explode?
They haven't already?
I might agree with my brother on this, but that depends on how often you run them.
Oh, all day and every day.
But fairly empty, I assume?
Oh, heck no. They're the gills with people. It's really full.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. In that case, time for a new fleet for sure. Anything else we could help you with?
Well, what do you guys know about gondolas?
So join us for Monorail Talk on your local public radio station. And remember, don't ride like my brother.
And don't ride like my brother.
And we're back. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pete Carney.
Hello, everyone. Sivako. Sorry for my late appearance. This my sleep schedule's all messed up.
We already had a Sirona segment. You missed it. I've started drinking.
I just grabbed a beer off the counter. I'm out of Sironas. This is becoming a real tragedy. This is serious stuff going on here.
I will light a candle for you.
Oh man, but I am. I grabbed some sour monkeys, so that's good.
Sour monkey. All right, well, there we go.
That's what we're having today.
Pete's just joining us. He hasn't seen the new addition to the show. We added with the latest technology. We added a special Butters cam.
Yeah.
So, Butters has her own. Yeah, we have a Butters cam. So
that's amazing.
More popular than me. So she's having a good time. She's out on the patio.
Yeah. I use Butters. That's so great.
She's out on the patio. She's having a good time.
Chilling. This is great.
She does that all day. Yeah, that's her thing. She's good at chilling.
Why are we
Do what
even
you're good
here?
at. My grandma always said, "Yeah, we're gonna next week. Next week, we're just gonna open up and have a butters cam." You know what? I could probably make money just having a butters cam all day long that people log it, like just live stream it under the bed. She insists on sleeping under the bed. We put it under the bed at night. You know, you have the butters cam there. You have it throughout the day. There's only a few places. Yeah,
I'm just watching. I'm just watching Schitt's Creek for the first time.
Oh, it's such a good show.
It is so good. I just got up to season 3, but they have a rabbits cam, and there's a scene for anyone. I mean, at this point, it's not a spoiler. I'm the last one to watch it, but where the guy like undresses, he doesn't realize that the rabbit cam catches him undressing. It's very funny. I just picture that with a butters cam, like under the bed. I'm like, no, Eric, we're here.
The old butters
cam.
I just want to make money like those the Minecraft guys.
Oh, they
those
have
guys on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's
what
unbelievable. But yeah, someone told me the highest paid person on YouTube is some woman. They don't even know who she is. And it's just like photos of her like hands as she opens and unwraps. I think is it toys?
Oh, unboxing videos.
Yeah, like unboxing toys, and she's like makes like I don't know, like more money than an NFL quarterback.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's pretty
not bad
incredible.
work if you can get it. Yeah, like in the I think $40 million range. I heard.
Oh jeez.
To unwrap stuff.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'll tell you what. I will unwrap stuff better, faster, and more informatively than her for half that money. I promise you.
Well, that's like when you tell people about like what some of the Disney vloggers make. You know, like I try to tell people in my non-Disney world. I'm like, yeah, there's this couple. They just had a kid, but I'm like, yeah, they usually just go to the theme parks, 6-7 days a week and record themselves. And they're like, okay, but what do they do for work? I'm like, well, they make, a pretty substantial over 6-figure living just doing that. And they're like, what? They're like, Pete, you should get to it. I'm like, yeah, it's not that easy, but it's not that easy because
there was somebody that used to work at my my last place of employment that they were working there full time and they quit their full time job because they were making more money being a Disney vlogger than they were at their full time job. So they quit. And I think we're talking about the same individual too.
I don't know. I can tell you that none of those individuals are on your screen right now. Butters has the best chance of the 6-figure income. Oh, there she
Butters
goes.
does. Butters already is talking to her union rep. She just left. She's like, I gotta talk to my union rep here.
Like calling her agent.
That's a great shirt, Wolf. I like that shirt.
Thank you.
You can always count on Eric for the Toy Story and
but I
Pixar
can't
type
see.
of,
I can't see what's on the board behind you. What's on the customized?
Oh yeah, what's on the board today?
Did you
Nothing's
change it?
on the board today. No. So the board got covered today.
All right. Okay. I wonder what it was, but that's fine. We can leave it be.
So Pete, we just to recap what we've kind of covered today. I went through a lot of the highlights of the last week or so on the WDWNT live events. We did talk about Party with Pete, and you had Piano Rob, which I think was probably one of the best things that we've done in the last couple weeks.
Thanks, man.
Of the live shows. I thought that was really entertaining and touching and great and highly interactive, and it couldn't have gone much better. And
that's awesome.
So we talked about that amongst other things that were related to all the really. I've liked a lot of the stuff that I've seen us do. Colleen's Craft Corner has been great. The Ride Rehab watch alongs have been very popular and great. And on and on and on. There's been a lot of great stuff going on. Then we talked a little bit. Allison shared with us what it was like. She did one of those professional Disney portrait sessions, and it was basically during and after her wedding, where where Disney provided a dedicated photographer to go with her into the parks before they opened, take wedding photos. Due to poor planning on Allison's part, this took place at starting at 4 a.m. on the day after her wedding.
Yikes.
I'm kidding, Allison. I'm not blaming you. I just think it's funny. Like you were probably like kicking yourself that day. You're like, man, I really should have just.
I think I went to. Yeah, wow, that's a pretty crazy goal. I was gonna say most weddings I stop my partying around 4 a.m. So like that's just like may as well go right to the park.
Yeah, and then the last segment we did, we were discussing just quiet places to get away and kind of relax at the resorts or in the parks, on Disney property, where you just a place to go and just get some peace and quiet. We kind of got into the bars, but I try to stay away from the bars only because I know that that's more of a sweet spot for someone like you and someone like me to discuss. But we touched on some of those
nice quiet spots.
Oh yeah, let's hit us with them.
Well, I mean, one of them I kind of talked about on the show. It's a double spot as one of my favorite spots to hang out. Is Geyser Point over at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, we talked about that one. That's a great one.
Yeah, I was gonna say just that how serene. You could grab a cocktail, which is fun for me, but like just if you want to go relax. But then you can walk down to like almost what they would call like the beachfront. There's Adirondack chairs. I think there's some loungers too, where you can just lay down or sit back and watch the boats going across the lake. You could see the top of the Magic Kingdom or Space Mountain. You could see the Contemporary and BLT. You could see Fort Wilderness. It's just one of those beautiful spots. So if you guys already talked about that, that's a great spot.
No, we did mention you also. We had talked about places that would be cool locations to do professional portraits. So when Allison did hers, she went into Epcot and they let her do 2 countries. So she did Italy and Germany. Is that right, Allison?
Yes, that's right.
That's awesome.
Axis Powers. So
those are so cool.
She did that, but we talked about what other places people would pick, and I think almost unanimously people thought Pete would pick Jelly Rolls.
Oh man, I don't know. I think it would be super cool to do a photo shoot there. I don't know if whoever, I don't know if my significant other would be okay with that. But yeah. Jelly Roll is a cool spot. The boardwalk in general, if I could like kind of have the boardwalk empty, that would be really cool. There's some cool spots that you can photograph there. I think it photographs well at night as well. So it's a cool spot at night. But that's, you have me thinking about Epcot, like which 2 countries I would want to do. Like that's really neat. I didn't know that you could pick 2 countries. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so you could just pick 1 if you wanted to. You could technically pick 3, but your session is only an hour, so they don't recommend that you pick more than 2 because you're gonna be like just exhausted going from place to place.
You're like,
apparently money talks with these people though.
It's expensive, those Disney weddings. Those are crazy.
Everything's in bounds depending on your wallet. You can probably
exactly. You could have if I wanted. Yeah. I could have had the Dapper Dans if I wanted. I could have had the Haunted Mansion dancers there if I wanted. So those are all options. I mean, you're going to be paying a lot of money for them. But if you want a very specific character, you can get it. You're going to be paying a couple $1,000s for it. But yeah, you can get almost anything, any food that you want, anything, as long as you have the money.
That's where Allison came up with the idea of just going to the Not So Scary Halloween party dressed as a bride and groom. You could probably get your character meet and greets in there too for your photos. Yeah. Think about that
because it's a costume.
Yeah, or you could do a run. You could do a club run Disney. Do one of the half marathons, and they have the characters. You just wear a little wedding dress and stop and take your picture there.
In my gown, I'm not sure that's what I would want to do. But if
you should see some people who run these things in the outfits they run them in. Gowns.
Oh man, yeah.
You see a bunch of dresses and gowns. These people are nuts. I give them credit. It's wild.
I ran the Disney World half marathon in 2012, and it was a terrible mistake because like I started training for it, and then life got in the way, and I moved, and I went on a cruise. I did all this stuff. I went on a cruise, and I was like, oh, cool. I'll be on the Disney Magic. They got a great gym. I'll be on that treadmill wearing it out every day. Never even found it. But I get that. I barely finished the marathon, or barely finished the half marathon, and I'm like limping around, and then actually couldn't walk for a short period of time. I did finish it though. But
no.
But then Lee my girlfriend Lee has we have a whole wall of I don't know how many Disney half marathons, all the different half marathons she's run, but it's dozens of them. And I have, so basically I have this one half marathon medal in a framed shadow box. And then she has dozens of them just hanging on little hooks on the wall. Thanks a lot. What about a big time move? What a big time move. But anyway, I've gone there to watch her finish, and the things that you see people run an entire half marathon in are crazy. Full Jedi robes. Aren't you hot?
Oh,
how are you doing this? It's I don't know how people do it and all that stuff. But I mean, you'll see a lot of people just in those skirts that are is it called?
Little tutus or something?
Yeah, tutu skirts and stuff. You see a lot of that. Okay, I get that. But then the people that are in a full costume. Called it Thule. Oh. What's that material? It's the material. It's that material.
Tool. Yeah. When you were when you started with the TH, I'm wait a minute. What were you gonna say?
Tool. I don't know. I'm not good at that stuff. I don't know all these big words. I was a Marine. We know 5 words. So everything else I've learned since then.
What were those 5 words?
I can share one of them.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
I don't. Yeah, I guess. No, can I share it? No, I can't. I can't share that one either. So, I don't know. If you want to find out those 5 words, see your local Marine Corps recruiter, and he'll ship you straight to Paris Island or San Diego
at 2200.
So, there's Butters. She now has her back turned to the neighborhood, so I don't know how she's guarding us. But it looks like, she's tired. She's time for her break. Look at the sweet little thing having a nap.
Oh,
probably racking up the lights. Yeah, union requires that. She's a big star.
Oh. Courtney, one of our Wigs members in the chat, was talking to Allison, but I'm going to read it because she told me about this when we were talking in person. Instead of a Disney reception, they treated their entire wedding party to a Magic Kingdom after hours event. It's really cool. So they got to do the rides. Yeah, a lot of group stuff, pictures. Right, the park's pretty much empty. Free ice cream. I think it's a really good idea. That's cute. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We almost did that. We were thinking of not having. We were thinking of doing the smallest most minimalist type of Disney wedding ceremony, and then having renting I don't know, a section or a room in a Disney restaurant or something like that on property, and that's our reception. And then we just we pay for everybody's meal, and then we have a dessert party afterwards. So kind of custom making our own kind of wedding reception. Yeah. But we ended up just doing it streamlined and just throwing all of our money at Disney fairy tale weddings. But I mean, there are people that do what you just said, and that's how they do their Disney wedding.
I have been to a dessert reception after a wedding, and they actually had a reception, and then later that night they had the dessert reception for Illuminations down there, that little area between UK and France.
That's nice. It's a nice spot.
I forget what it's called, but that little area down there. And I did a corporate one.
Dessert party row.
Yeah. I did a corporate one time where we hosted they had kind of almost a trade show at the Atlantic Dance Hall all day and presentations. They fed us, and then they walked us out, and they had a dessert reception kind of right there behind the UK. So we were right there on the water, and that one had open bar. Open bar was nice. The other one was, hey, I appreciate free cupcakes and dessert as much as the next guy, but open bar, you're going to earn a special place in my heart. What do you got, Pete?
I said, no,
I thought you were showing it off. Look like when
Butters, home photo. No, these are all over property. This is all over property, but it's comfortable, and I'm still recovering. I was up really early, and then I fell asleep, took a little nappy poo.
Yeah, and you're out of Serona. I wonder what happened last night.
Last night we ran a Serona the day before. When did I run into Serona's? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Party with Pete and Walt Disney World News Tonight. WDW News Tonight. It's a long day. It's a lot of Seronas. I pretty much just drink Seronas on shows. What?
Yeah.
Your outfit, I have to say, that was WDWNT.
Oh, thank you.
With the fedora? That was nice.
The bartender outfit.
Yeah, it was liquid magic.
Yeah.
It's fancy.
I like it.
It's liquid magic.
Yeah, it's good. I'm not sure I would. I'm not sure I'm in a hurry to drink a Carney Avenger, but that's just me.
It's really delicious. I'll make it for you. I'm telling you, everyone who I have try it, they fall in love with it.
Cucumber,
it's very
lemon,
citrusy.
Cucumber, lemon, lime,
and then
orange.
a lemon, lime, and orange. Yeah, you muddle it all up. You can add a strawberry if you want a little bit of sweetness.
Gin,
but
and I don't like gin.
No one likes gin until you try this. That's also a fun fact.
You know why? Because it tastes like the Christmas tree water. Like when I was a kid.
It doesn't, though. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
you get
come on.
good gin like Bulldog or Hendrix, and then you do a half. Well, what I basically call a third, a third, and a third. You should have a third of like muddled juice, basically from the lemon, lime, orange, and cucumber. Then you should have a third of gin and a third of ginger ale. I'm telling you, it is the bomb diggity. And then obviously over ice. So like you're not drinking a third of a pint of gin. It ends up being about 2 ounces. But it's so good. Now you got me thinking about them.
Liquid magic.
Yes, thank you, Kevin.
Perfect. Thank you.
That is a great a great song. You have your own segment with your own song. I have my own show. I don't have a song. I don't have a graphic.
I need a song.
Butters Cam to try to carry.
The Butters Kev is brilliant. I want a song. I feel like we should have songs for some of these shows.
There it is.
That's so great. Look at the Butters Kev. Oh, Butters.
Where did the Liquid Magic song come from? Where did we get that?
It's from Liquid Magic was a real show on Property. It was like Liquid. Man, what show was it? It was like a fountain show, I think. Nick actually sent this to me because you were coming up with ideas for the show. You remember this, Wolf? Like we were trying to come up with funny names for me and Nick's show, and Nick sent me. He's like, "What if we use this? It's from like a fountain show," and he sent it to me, and I was like, "God."
Oh, people in the chat are saying Splashtacular at Epcot.
That's right. That's right. Splashtacular. Yeah. So it's amazing. Yeah. Tom just texted me.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, it's Splashtacular.
Tom's watching. Good morning, Tom. Loved your show last night.
Good morning.
Tom's watching. Always watching.
Always watching.
Always watching.
If I had the trap door, I would be dropped through it so many times with Tom. His finger would get so exhausted, drop me through that trap door.
Speaking of Tom's watching, it's been about an hour. I need to just remind people to invite you to go to patreon.com/WDWNT, where you can become a WIGS member for as little as $2 a month. And it gives you access to post shows, exclusive content, and in-person events, and much, much more. We'd appreciate all the help that you guys provide. We've already gotten a kind donation today of $9.99, but I'd love to pick up a WIGS member or two by the time we're done here.
That's such a great picture.
But anyway, you could go. Yeah, I love that picture. The thing I love the most is the video of Tom handing people spaghetti. When Tom is dressed as Tony handing people spaghetti, that's my favorite.
In that one, he's handing the spaghetti to my husband, and he actually tries to eat the spaghetti. That's him. And
nice.
It's pretty funny.
These are great. Anyway, yeah, go to WDWNT to find out more, or you can go to patreon.com/WDWNT to become a WIGS member. We'd love to see that today. Wow, look at this. These pictures are great.
I'm ready to chat. Maddie said I dressed up like a magician.
We did get a super chat donation earlier. It was a $9.99 sticker, so that's a big one.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. Again, if you want to use the super chat, there is a little $sign at the bottom of the chat window, and you can have a choice of putting a sticker or a message in your super chat and the donation into the window, and we would appreciate that as well. We are doing Locked In with Eric Morton this morning. We have Allison with us. We actually have two Erics and two Allisons on staff, so I don't know if you have to come up with a special Allison differentiator name or how that's going to work. We probably need to work on that, because there's an Allison. She is on Park Center, so we may have to come up with another name for you. I don't know.
Some people will call me Allie. Some people will call me Miss Allison. I don't know if anybody has a preference.
Miss Allison. You're that in the chat, right?
Yeah. It gives her some added credibility. It gives her a little bit more authority over the rest.
Whoa, you got a super chat.
Yes, Miss Allison.
We got super chat.
$5. Super chat.
$5.
Super Bowl champions.
Very
$5
nice.
to super chat. We appreciate that very much, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
you.
Love it.
And we are now entering the home stretch. We have about a half hour left. If you had something that you wanted to discuss, please feel free to put it in the chat. So far, we've kind of covered all the highlights of the last week on WDWNT Live and all of our other live programming that's been brought to you guys. We went through the photo shoot, the high-end Disney photo shoot that Allison had. We went through the Quiet Places in the Park, and then we brought in Mr. Pete Carney to kind of help take this home. Pete, as we always do you have any random Disney facts for the people at home? We've already covered
Disney facts.
We already covered the Richard Nixon and the Beatles.
Yes, we did the Richard Nixon and the Beatles. Oh man, what's a good random Disney fact? Well, I'm sure everyone knows. I'll give you some ones that I think everyone should know, in case you don't. The names on the windows at Magic Kingdom Animation USA. Obviously, it starts with Roy Disney, which is the first name you'll see on the window because he is the producer, they say, and hence his bench with Minnie is kind of right up there too. Then as you walk down Main Street, you see the Imagineers and the people who made it happen and made a huge impact on Disney. And then the last window facing the castle is Walt's window. They say he always has the best view, or his the last name you see, he was the director. He gets a view of the castle. There's a lot of reasons why he's there, but he's the very last name you'll see above the plaza.
Right now, he's like, somebody can move these damn lifts.
The other side.
These man lifts.
Yeah, he's like, what are these new lifts? Jeez.
Move them out of the way. And don't paint it pink.
Yeah. Oh, if Walt, I think about this all the time. This is going a little off topic, but I constantly think what if you just picked up Walt, brought him back to life, and showed him everything right now? And I'm sure he'd be blown away and really happy about a lot of things, but he'd be like, wait, what?
No, I've thought about that a lot. And I think if Walt Disney just came to life and showed up in my apartment door, what the heck? Where am I? What has happened? I think I'd have to spend a couple days prepping him before I would dare take him anywhere and show him what the park's like. Oh, yeah. And there's stuff that would blow his mind and that he would be really happy with. And there's stuff where he'd be like, what? Who greenlighted this? Have them come to my office immediately. I don't know.
I'm sure things that we've protected, he'd be like, why? When we still have the people mover, he'd be like, you guys love the people mover? That is what you love? All this technology and you like the people mover? I'm not. Let me make the record true. I love the people mover too. I'm just saying I think Walt would be like, this is the thing you guys treasure? You have all this technology. You have Pandora. You like the people mover?
Yeah. Why do you guys care about all the free bread?
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be like, the Carousel of Progress. He's like, it's been 40 years since this was relevant or updated.
He's like, I actually used to own that virtual reality helmet that the grandma was playing the game with. What are you doing?
And he's like, wait a minute, you guys saved the Country Bears? You should have had those guys at it. No, I don't want to get crazy.
Oh, I'm watching. Careful.
Please.
No, but I do think that's an interesting. I've actually thought about that at many points in my life. I've thought Walt Disney shows up on your doorstep and doesn't know, that what year it is, and he's been asleep for however long, and how are you going to take him through this? And I'm like, you're going to have to dip his toe into the water, because the Walt Disney World Resort would blow his mind in terms of the size and scale of the place compared to probably even his biggest dreams. I don't think it was. I don't even know how many resorts there are at this time, but 20 hotels or whatever, and all these parks and all this stuff, and the stock price and the revenue, and he'd be pretty happy. And then you go, hold on, we're gonna pull in a parking lot here, and he says, we're charging what to park?
Yeah. He's like $30. He's like, does that include admission and free food and drink for the day? And he'd be like, no, actually, Walt, it doesn't.
Hold on, come with me as I renew my annual pass. I'm going to renew my annual pass for $700. What?
I think he'd really like a lot of stuff too, but I just would feel so bad for him at certain points where and again, you can tell I've thought about this way too much, where he's like, oh my God, you guys actually finished Epcot for me? I would love to go see Epcot. It was my vision. It's like, Well, you're not
yeah,
going to want to go see
your
Epcot. Let's focus on the Magic Kingdom, maybe the Animal Kingdom, something you always dreamed about. Hollywood Studios. I mean, it doesn't know what it is, but let's go look. Just stay away from Epcot. Maybe we'll just look at the World Showcase.
You guys built Epcot? Well, we use the name. Does that count?
Yeah, well, you know how you wanted to build this whole like community? We just said nah. So we built construction walls. But they're painted.
Yeah, I think the Epcot would be an enjoyable experience for Walt, but I don't think it would match what his vision was, maybe at all. So that's okay. You got to work with the constraints you're given.
You know what he would like? Jelly rolls. I'll tell you that much. Live entertainment. Some guys slapping the keys.
Hey, so I wanted to show you real quick. I had said I have this single medal from the 2012 Disney World Half Marathon, which is like the Donald Duck one. That a lot of people actually think that's a great medal. Pete or Kevin, I sent Kevin a picture of Lee's medals just to compare them to my lonely medal that's in a giant frame shadow box. And he's like, "Oh yeah, hang your priority. Put this thing over here." Here's what we have, and then there's me, the former Marine, with one medal in a shadow box. Yeah, the thing. Yeah, we had to screw it into the studs. You can't just put that directly into the drywall, man. Well, I have a suggestion. Am I getting suggestions? Lee said she has fun facts, and she said, "Tell Pete to talk about forced perspective."
Oh, forced perspective. There's a few. I mean, obviously, Disney's been using forced perspective everywhere, from the castle, which, if you don't know, the bricks get smaller, and obviously it looks a lot taller than it is. It's only about 195 feet, the castle. If it goes over 200, it's supposed to have a blinking red light, and I say supposed to because there's a place on property that's over 200 feet that doesn't have a red blinking light. You can go look that up. But, yeah, I mean, obviously from Pandora uses forced perspective. Everything does now. I mean, Expedition Everest use forced perspective, the Matterhorn. Yeah, Galaxy's Edge. I mean, now if they build it into a land, for sure. I think that another really cool use of it, though, that's not vertical, that's more your visual horizontally, is Main Street USA. When you're looking down Main Street USA, the walk to the castle looks like this long, beautiful walk. And when you're looking from the castle to the exit, it looks like a short, manageable walk when you're leaving the park at the end of the day. So I think it's really neat that how they do that as well, both horizontally and vertically.
Someone asked a question that's pretty deep. More Beverly, please, said, "Would Eisner have been great without Wells?" And I don't know if we have time to cover this or expertise. This is a good question for Tom. Michael Eisner, yeah, but would Michael Eisner have been great without Wells? And the answer to that question is we probably don't know. I think they were a dynamic duo, and I think that
once his helicopter crashed.
Yeah, the loss of him certainly damaged Eisner and his psyche, but also I think there's a life cycle to maybe a Disney CEO, and I think the Wells accident might have just coincidentally coincided with that timeline where maybe it was time for Eisner to start either making changes or looking for a replacement. And I don't know, because he gave so much to Disney fans, especially people that are fans of the parks, that Michael Eisner gave us a lot. And he did some great things. And you can trace moments post the Wells accident to things that people didn't like as much, or things that people maybe they had just been kind of put off towards the end because there were things that he felt needed to get done but wouldn't be popular. Yeah. I think the same thing happens with Bob Iger, where he was a highly competent executive, but his accomplishments that are most notable to Disney fans probably happened earlier in his tenure, and then he started focusing on things like the streaming and the, picking up some of the business units and things like that. And those are things that are good for shareholders, but were not necessarily decisions made with a Disney fan in mind. So I think a lot of that's related to the timeline, but I do think the Wells accident precipitated some decline in Eisner's passion and vision for what he wanted to do, particularly with the parks.
Can I plug a I'm gonna plug an article written by Kevin Lake on our WDWNT website, and it's an editorial called "Michael Eisner was the greatest CEO in the history of the Walt Disney Company."
Yeah, that's a good article.
I love that article, and I think
I was very well written.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
that's a great one. Feel free to check that one out. WDWNT.com. It's in there, and you probably just search for Michael Eisner was the greatest CEO in Disney history on Google, and it'll be a top result because we're pretty good at search engine optimization over here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I searched, and bam, right there. So
yeah, that'll pop right up. So that's it. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read it, but I highly recommend you do.
Spoiler alert: Eisner's no longer CEO.
What?
I know. Just figure you should know this by the time you get to the end of the article.
He foresaw Eisner foresaw the COVID-19 thing like over a decade ahead of time.
He got out right at the right time. Yeah, right before we had a string of bombs.
All I know is if it wasn't for Eisner, we wouldn't have this picture.
Oh.
Yeah, that is true. Eisner thought cats shouldn't be allowed to live and not put out to death. So thank you, Eisner.
If it weren't for Eisner, you wouldn't be able to bring your house cats to the parks.
Yes, so now you can bring your house cats to all the parks thanks to Eisner.
That's our next incorrect Disney fact.
Monkeys, or your donkeys,
your house ducks,
or your peacocks.
House cats are welcome at the Magic Kingdom. Your incorrect Disney fact of the week. See what else we have.
Is that Doug?
Yep.
It is.
Oh my goodness. There was a live show at Studios. There's a Doug live show for a little bit.
There was. I will say, after Disney picked up Doug,
no.
The
whole show went.
Hey, someone just randomly mentioned the second floor of the Columbia Harbor House. That's a great spot, and usually
great people watching.
Good for the parade.
Well, you can sit in that little that bridge, where there's people walking underneath you while you're dining at the Columbia Harbor House, and the people are walking from the tangled bathrooms down towards the Haunted Mansion, and a good quiet spot to people watch from a safe distance. It's a good spot.
Yeah.
Eric, do you want to plug your show this week?
Yeah, so on Tuesday morning we are doing the Wolf's Den. We're going to be talking about just different things. It's going to be very just creative thinking. We're going to be playing some games as well, which we're going to need you guys in the chat, and we're going to be showcasing things that we collect. So that'll be fun as well. So see you guys there on Tuesday for the Whoops Den.
Yeah, and 9 p.m. I'm interested to watch at 9 p.m. The Back to the Future will be on the Carousel of Progress. This should be interesting. It's an attraction a lot of people are passionate about, even though I don't know what it is about the Carousel of Progress that connects with people, but people love the Carousel of Progress. And even though it's kind of dated and kind of falling apart right now, people have a lot of affinity for it. I remember when I first started going to the Disney parks, it was when they had the different song. They had the now is
today.
Now is the best time. Yeah. And then, so that was the Carousel of touch my face. Here we go. Have a drink with me. And so that was the Carousel of Progress to me, not knowing the whole history of it back then. And the great big, this great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day, which is a song that Pete sings very well, as we know.
It's a great big.
Yeah. Continue. Oh, the butter. Whoop! We have action in the neighborhood on the butter.
We got Butters came on the move.
Oh yeah. Looks like she turned this way. So she's out on the patio.
Dog.
A new development.
Yeah,
evening up at 10. Very smart.
Yeah,
what does my shirt say? My shirt says "The Fresh Prince of Agrabah."
Oh, that's such a good
I like that. That seems like something that Eric Wolf would like.
Yeah, I definitely would wear that.
He had the street rat hat. That goes with the street rat hat.
Yeah.
And then later this week, there's also when is cooking with Tyler? That's one I think a lot of people.
Tyler, I'm pretty sure he cooks every day.
I think that's Wednesday.
Well,
Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Cooking with Tyler. So that should be very interesting. Last time we checked in on Tyler, he had changed his shirt, which is kind of a big thing because he had been unable to change his shirt recently because he's basically just sleeping and then waking up and being on and then sleeping. So Tyler's finally going to make some food. We don't want him to waste away. So Tyler, we're looking forward to cooking with Tyler. I don't know what they're cooking. It may have been released and I missed it, but I'll be excited to see what he's cooking. I'm sure it'll be something delicious. Hopefully better than
Toad, your desktop behind you.
Yeah, that's Toad Hall behind me.
That is so awesome.
I was wondering what that was.
I was like,
Toad
that's
Hall.
Toad.
Yeah, it's
I like it. I
have that. I have you missed it. Lee put out a genie mug today. That's a big one. And have that Pirates of the Caribbean shadow box. I bought that at Disneyland.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And
that's cool.
I don't have any. This is my favorite. This is my favorite mug. This is just like a retro Tomorrowland coffee mug that I really like.
Cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Different stuff on it.
I like it.
This is my favorite, but I don't have as much cool merchandise as a lot of these people. I'm no Tom Corliss. Tom is apparently stuffed to the gills with it to the point where he had to rent a studio and office just to have room to store his stuff, is what someone said yesterday. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yo, if you would have seen
But it wasn't for us to do the show?
Was at his place. It was crazy.
What's that?
And then you should have seen when the studio was at his apartment. It was wild. I mean, now you see the office and the studio. We have lots of space and it's filling up quick as it is. But that was all. I mean, besides like his museum pieces, like that was all in his apartment. Like he had merch all over the place. Studio was like in one room. I mean, but hey, I mean, you do what you got to do. Now you got the studio. Life is good.
How long do you have the studio?
The studio debuted when I moved to Florida, so I believe it was August 1st.
No, I think
August
it's I think it's May. I think Tom said we're going to have a birthday. Well, maybe if we're back to broadcasting from the studio, May 1st would be the birthday. I think he said that's the birthday of the studio.
No, that's the anniversary of Hollywood Studios.
I thought it was of our studio. Maybe I was thinking
our studio. I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know when he signed the lease, but we did our first show the first week of August. Because literally, I was driving down from New York on my second trip to moving here. Literally dropped Lauren off and went straight to the studio from the drive down from New York and did our first News Tonight in the studio.
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And Mandy is
now
confirming it
we're
on August 1st. So now it's official.
It's August 1st.
Someone asked if Butters is getting too hot. I'm going to talk to her union associate out there. Is Butters getting too hot? No, she's doing just fine. She's just smiling. That's how she smiles like that. She's doing good. She's in the shade. There's a little breeze out there. It's actually a beautiful day here in Orlando, Florida. It would be a great day to go to a park or do something, and instead we're kind of cooped up. It's depressing, but we're trying to get through this. Yeah.
Tyler Miggity Man is in the chat, and he says that you were throwing shade at him. Do you want to clarify whether you were throwing shade at Tyler?
I was just teasing him. No, the picture, he was wearing like a dirty shirt. I didn't know if that was. I know he had said, someone teased him on one of their shows the other day. They're like, "Are you wearing the same shirt as yesterday?" He goes, "Yes, because I just went to bed and I woke up." And then yesterday he's like, "I'm wearing a new shirt today, by the way." I would never throw shade at Tyler. Tyler's one of the best guys out here. So, but ask Tyler, Tyler, what are you cooking? What's going to be on your show?
He put it on the chat there. He's cooking Epcot cheddar cheese soup, steak, and roasted potatoes.
Which is a staple in the Canada Pavilion. So, I mean, very true to form. He's cooking Canadian.
So if you guys want to see that, tune in to Cooking with Tyler Wednesday.
I saw that. Someone got upset that it didn't say what the nutrition information for the soup was. Like we're Nabisco.
Just exactly what you would think it is. It's cheese.
It's made of cheese and beer.
Cheese,
and butter.
Cheese, beer, and butter. Like I don't know. I guess it depends on which kind of cheese you use and which kind of butter you use and which kind of beer you use. I wouldn't recommend putting Sirona in it. By the way, Pete, I am a fan of the Sirona. Thank you for introducing them to me.
I saw the picture that Lee sent us last night. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can keep the mango. You can keep the mango.
The mango I'm not a big fan of either. I mean, I'll drink it, but the other ones are all good. I mean, I don't know. I've worked my way through a lot of these Truly, White Claw, everything else. And White Claw, you know, my original big favorite. But then, when I had these Sironas, healthier, they taste good, they go down like water. And I could drink a bajillion of them and be fine. So they just keep me in a good spirit.
Drink a bajillion of them and be fine.
Bajillion. They're only 4.5%.
It's okay, officer. I only had a bajillion of them. I'm fine.
The joke I make when I used to sell beer and like talk about how much I could drink. Like if it was Bud Lights, I'd be like, I could drink 40 of them and drive a school bus. But you know, like this, so this is 9.5%. This is so one can of this is like drinking more than 2 Sironas, and this is what I used to drink all the time. So like Sironas are like diet, like it may as well be water.
I'm gonna go with Allison here. No.
40. It's like geez, 40. If I did that, it would be like a small live.
I don't want to get into how much I can drink, but no, 40 isn't like first of all, it's not economical to have 40 Sironas. I'd be going broke fast.
No, you can have like 3 Woodford Reserves on the rock.
Like 1 or 2 Sironas, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not an officially sanctioned drink for the Eric's Apartment edition of the Food and Wine Festival, so I can't speak intelligently on the Sirona. I can tell you, someone asked, we did get a refill. Someone para-dropped some chips to us, so a military plane went over and dropped a bag of chips. We have chips. Nice. I had to resupply on vodka. And someone Lee picked up some Sirona or Corona. They're called Corona seltzer. Pete likes to call them Sirona.
That's my favorite.
Sirona.
They're not bad. And they're not like a White Claw. There's something I picture White Claw. I picture like a woman's hand with long fingernails holding it and sipping it like while she's taking Instagram photos. And so I think the Corona looks a little bit more inconspicuous, but I don't know. I wish they put it in a regular size can instead of this like elongated.
It's I call it. They're like the Virginia Slim of cans.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. I assume it's the same volume or similar, right? Yeah, it's 12 fluid ounces. Just squash the can down a little bit. I don't know. It causes trouble in my refrigerator.
Pudgy little bee.
Yeah. It needs to get along.
Why does it cause trouble in your refrigerator? Are they like intimidating the other cans? What's happening?
No, it's because I haven't. No, not like Tyler's corn dogs, where he turns it into a rough neighborhood with corn dogs, the clockwork orange corn dogs. No, I have like one of those little. There we go. There's Tyler's corn dogs.
Yes.
Thank you, Tyler. We love you. No, it causes trouble in the fridge because I have one of those things where they all load on a little like conveyor thing where they roll down and then back and forth.
Yeah.
They're too long for it. So, I don't know. That
they're for regular size cans, right?
Yeah, they're for like those regular size 12-ounce cans that like something that Tom would drink Diet Cherry Dr. Pepper out of before he mixed it with
there we
Malibu coconut rum or whatever this. I mean, times called for desperate measures, guys. I don't know. That was an interesting moment for me, and then Tom drank it. Like, it's not that bad, and I'm like, bad.
It's not as much fun doing liquid magic from your home either, because like the fun part is like the mayhem in the studio. Liquid magic. Yeah. And also having everyone try it, like having the reactions, like having Tom be like, "Oh, that's terrible," or like, "Oh, this is pretty good." Like the reactions are the best part.
When you guys did it in the studio, that table was disgusting.
Oh,
like we had to go sit in the living room for like a panel discussion later, and I was like, "Oh my god, this thing looks like it was just a prop in a Gallagher show. Like there's just like all over it. After the film, like stuff slushing all over the place.
First one,
you spill some on the carpet and stuff.
They're having a party,
Yeah. I don't know, but it was fun. By the way, the first Liquid Magic drinks that you guys made were disgusting. Whatever the first one was.
Here's the thing: is that we had committed to this idea. All right, I'll give you a 30-second version of what happened. So we committed to this idea. We wanted to be a segment where we take you out on an external cam when you get to see the bar. You get to meet the bartender, see how they make it, and see how it's presented, and talk to the bartender. And that way, it's like cool. And we cut to the studio and we make the cocktails ourselves in studio. And that's fun. But what we did was we wanted drinks that are unique to the lounges you're going to, like a drink you could only get in that location.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a bar and be like, make me a vodka and soda. Hey,
exactly.
guys,
so when we went to Wave, while they can make anything and they have a ton of like delicious cocktails, the only two that are exclusive to the Wave were not great. Like, well, the Seven Seas Lagoon, the big punch bowl is fine, but if you have to like sweet drinks, the other one literally tasted like bad cough medicine. But now we committed to this idea, so we had to be like, hey, we're gonna come make a drink that doesn't taste good. Even the bartender's like, it doesn't taste good. Like, he's like, no one orders this. And I'm like, we're going to order it.
I want them to redo the Seven Seas Lagoon to something delicious because it's a beautiful drink. And I think that would be a fun one for like a group of people to do. And by the way, I was at the Seven Seas Lagoon, the big blue one with all the... Yeah, I know. I thought it was beautiful. Oh, yeah. I just would remake it, like give it a different recipe so it's not gross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
we'll see. I'm gonna do the Lapu coming up soon. If no one knows, that's a classic. We might do Tambu Lounge. Obviously, we're gonna work our way around all the resorts, and we'll make it happen. I think we're coming back quickly too. I think we're back on the show again in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But normally, like segments like that are like usually once a month or a little bit more. And I think we're coming back faster than normal because of how ridiculous we are, but and it seems to be a crowd favorite. So we're trying to figure out now what we're gonna do in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
I bet those Swedish fish are still at the office. It's like
no, they are.
No.
Like, who can eat that many Swedish fish? I don't know, but they make a good prop. I remember going to this bar. There's probably bars at Disney that do this. As a matter of fact, it was like kind of something with blue curacao, and then you have. Crap! I just went blank. Never mind. It was like a shark attack, right? So they had like a little plastic shark, and it had this shot of like grenadine in it. No, it's like a toy shark, like a toy shark. And you don't remember grenadine in it, so it drinks like a shark attack. So you have the blue curacao, and then you pour the grenadine, and like it looks like the blood in the water.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Universal does something like that.
The drinks are rarely delicious, but they're always fun. Right.
That was called Jaws. They got rid of that.
Yeah, they got rid of. They had a Jaws drink at Universal. I don't know. I go to Universal like once every 10 years. I don't know. I like them. Yeah, once every 10 years or something like that. They're cool. They have some cool resorts. They have some really cool little hotels and resorts. And
I gotta go check out that resorts. I've never done that.
Yeah, no,
I just went to Islands
for
the
really nice.
second time ever, and I was like, wow, this isn't too bad. Islands of Adventure, like. It was empty, so I got to appreciate a little bit more. But I was like, oh, they do some like decent theming here, because I was a big Universal hater. I mean, I'm still like a huge Universal fan because a lot of their movies I haven't seen, and also the theming. I go to the parks for the theming, but it's growing on me. Certain things I do, like I love their horror nights, and I love that first area when you walk into Islands of Adventure. I think it's super cool and well themed if you stop and look around. But yeah, it's growing on me. It's growing on me.
It's not bad, and
it's gotten better.
But SeaWorld, like the property, the IPs just get progressively worse, right? You have like Disney has like top tier varsity level IPs, and Universal has one varsity level IP really, which is Harry Potter, and then they kind of have the licensing for some Marvel stuff, and then you get to like I don't know, Woody Woodpecker and Transformers and Simpsons and stuff that is Fast and Furious, So then you get to SeaWorld, and it's like I think Sesame Street. Is that right?
Oh, that area is so cute, though. The Sesame Street area is very great.
They did a really good job.
But like
I said, that was going to save them.
It resonates with everyone because who didn't watch Sesame Street growing up? And by the way, there's a Sesame Street show. Is it on YouTube? It was on Netflix. The new Sesame. There's some like Sesame Street show with the guy that played Big Bird that everyone tells me I got to watch, like on streaming. I forget what it is, but
I Am Big Bird, probably.
Yeah, I'm Big. Yes, the Big Bird.
What's his name? Carol Spinney.
Carol Spinney. So yeah, I want to watch that, but it resonates with every kid. But it's also like a public television broadcast, so it's not like a premier IP property. It's good. I'm glad they have it. It's probably really cute. And then I don't know what they have at Fun Spot. Tiger King. Man, we need a Fun Spot correspondent to tell us what's going on there.
Fun Spot, you have to bring your own ride operator. So as long as you have a friend that's qualified.
Fun Spot is where you go when you get kicked out of Old Town. I guess I gotta get a Fun Spot.
It's funny. I went to Fun Spot one time and I had to ask someone. I was like, "Are the rides open?" And she was like, "Oh, if they're not there, give them like 5 minutes. They'll be back." And I was just like, "Oh, okay."
He's talking to his meth dealer in the parking lot. He'll be right back.
No, God.
That's funny.
Fun Spot looks a little rough. Old Town, whatever. So if you drive on 192, by the way, by Old Town Celebration, like right by Celebration, there's like a ride that you see just spinning people around that like almost fits a checkers restaurant. Like it's right there. You like sit on the end of these long arms. They're like, I don't know, let's say 100 feet on each side or 150 feet long on each side, these arms, and you sit in these chairs. So they used to have, I don't know if it's that exact one, but they used to have it like more like an international drive area, and it was called the Katunga. And one time I had a few many to drink, and my friends and I were out somewhere, and my friend is like, I bet you won't do like 3 shots and then get on the Katunga with me.
Oh,
and it's like one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life.
I did.
It's right up there. It's right up there. My brother saying we're going to do a lap at Epcot and then get on Mission Space Orange after stopping at 11 countries. Yeah, it was. That when you've had too much to drink was not. I didn't get sick, but I wished I had gotten sick. Instead, I just felt terrible for like 3 hours. Sorry, go ahead.
I did that slingshot thing at like 3 a.m. once when after we were a night of going out, which was a ton of fun though. I didn't get sick. I loved it. The one that pulls you all the way down, then shoots you up into the sky, and you like rubber band back and forth. Yeah, that was fun.
I haven't done any of that new stuff that Orlando.
Mission Space hungover might be the worst torture of all time. I did that. Me and my brother did that, and that was a terrible idea.
I'm only just now getting to the point where I just don't like mission. Like I'm not super comfortable in those small, tight spaces that I can't get out of, right? Where I have to rely on some I'm sorry, I love the cast members are great, but where I have to rely on like a college student to come and let me out of this thing where I'm trapped in a small confined space. I was in there with someone who was pretty nervous about confined spaces. It was a hair-raising experience, but I don't like that as much as I used to. And like this is coming from like when I was in my 20s, I was going in the helicopter dunker that would, they'd turn off the lights. I was in England. They turn off the lights. You're in a fake helicopter. They put it in a giant pool of water. They dunk in, they turn it over upside down, and you got to get out. I was okay with that. The last time I was on Mission Space, it was a little uncomfortable.
It's intense.
Just a little bit. But,
by the way, Mandy, I will go on that slingshot thing with you whenever you want to go. That's so much fun. And Lauren won't do it with me. So, Mandy, whenever you want to go, you let me know. Mandy said she always wanted to try the slingshot thing in the chat.
Yes, we got to record
that.
Have
fun with that. Yeah, I'll record it. Me and Wolf will be on the ground going,
Ciroc called me out on my junior varsity IPs. I was like, like Harry Potter's the headliner at Universal, and I would say that Star Wars and Marvel are also like varsity level Division I ranked top 5 every year. Basketball, they're the Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina's kind of IPs. Jurassic Park, I would rank that a tier below. I mean, Disney has some that are ranked a tier below as well. I'm not going to lie. Same with Nintendo, right? Nintendo resonates with a lot of people, but nobody's out there going, man, I got to go on a Nintendo.
Here's the thing right now. They're not doing anything with a Nintendo. They're not doing anything with Back to the Future, with Jaws. So,
Yeah, Simpsons. I mean, who doesn't like the Simpsons? But it's yeah. And then E.T., I mean, all right. E.T. was cool. I like
E.T. when was that relevant last? E.T. was relevant when I was a kid, and I am not a young spring chicken.
But his point is taken, like Universal has some premium IP. I don't think Universal's IP is on par with Disney's IP. I don't. It is above SeaWorld. It is better than the Sesame Street as your like kind of IP, but I don't think that it is on par with Disney. That's just my opinion.
Well, of course it's not. Anyone who argues it is clearly delusional.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black.
What are we
Come on. I mean, yeah, it's fine. Men in Black is fine.
Men in Black was about the priesthood?
What?
That's a movie?
Yeah, there are Men in Black movies with Will Smith and a pug.
There's like 3 or 4 of them now, aren't there?
I don't know.
There's 4.
It's the Man In. It's the Man In.
They kind of run together after a while. And I'll say, like, does anyone have, like, Twilight? Who owns Twilight? Like, because someone had asked that question a while back. But someone asked that question a while back on the show. And they said, like, what's an IP that a park could scoop up? And I think, like, maybe Twilight. I don't know. But I watched the first seconds of a Twilight movie I've ever seen last night. Lee had something she loves it. She says it's so bad it's good. And a lot of people say that about things that are so bad they're good. I don't know. I don't know if that could be supported by a theme park. I don't even know who owns the IP to it. But they're all kind of, I think it's the same thing where they all just kind of run together after a while, right? I don't, like, to me, even Harry Potter.
David makes a good point. David in the chat makes a good point that Universal IPs are not necessarily their IPs. They lease, pay the rights to, and bring IPs in. Hence, like why they still have Marvel. Disney owns that, but that's still in their parks. Hence, The Simpsons. Disney now owns that. That's still in their parks. A lot of their IPs they just will pay to bring in. It's not like they owned Harry Potter and had to do it. They had to buy the rights to Harry Potter. They had to do that according to J.K. Rowling standards and everything else. And they built it with a lot of ex-Imagineers from Disney. That's why that land is the bomb diggity. So I've never seen Harry Potter or read the books, but the land is incredible. Both lands on both sides.
I think Universal is worth checking. There was a period of my life when I went to Islands of Adventure probably 3 or 4 times in a year one time. And there's plenty to explore there. There's room for both parks in Florida, I think. I was kind of turned off when the CEO of Universal or whatever got up there, and when they were announcing a new park, the Epic, what's it called?
Universe.
Epic Universe?
Epic Universe. He goes,
the universe is bigger than a world.
Last time I checked, the universe is bigger than a world. I was like,
so stupid.
I would prefer make it stand on its own. You don't have to like try to talk trash on other parks or make little.
Well, the thing that I love about that,
the thing
that I love about that is that
neighborhoods to get between your parks, like you got to. It's not sketchy, but iDrive has some tacky stuff on it, right? You got to. It's gonna be weird, right? Getting between your parks.
No, it's like the dude's talking about one park, and then we're talking about Walt Disney World. Like, calm down.
The number one tourist destination in the world versus like a park that hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, it's like you're talking about your one theme park or your 4th theme park because you call your water park a theme park.
4th, So does Disney World have like 6 parks? Is that it? I don't understand.
If Typhoon Lagoon ever opens again.
7 with Disney.
Some with Disney's, but Disney. Let's throw Disney Springs in there.
I don't want to get too deep into this, but I've worked very close to Volcano Bay recently. It looks run down and tacky. Like it is.
It's new. It's brand new, pretty much. It's in the phase.
The slides
couple
are
years old, I think.
Like
Volcano Bay is newer than Pandora. Like put that in your head. Like Pandora still looks good.
Drive by there. Drive up Turkey Lake Road on the backside of it. Or drive right by F4, and you're like, man, how this thing looks 20 years old.
I will say, Volcano Bay. You go into Volcano Bay, it's nice. There's the wave pool and how they were able to lay everything out. Beautiful. Got to give it to them for that. But I agree. If you're driving around and you're just driving past it, you're like, oh, this is Wet and Wild too. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, water parks in general are like that's not a vibe that I like. I'm not a water park guy. I just don't enjoy them. That's just me. But yeah, I'm glad Volcano Bay exists. I'm glad it's there, and they're going to do very well. It's just like the Disney water parks or whoever else. Who cares? That these are, I don't know. These are like ancillary things that people visit. Nobody flies to Orlando to go to a water park. I don't think. Every
No.
town.
We did it once.
Every major city in America has a water park. They all have the same wave pool, right? Everybody has the same wave pool where some kid's diaper floats.
You should go to H2O Glow Nights. We did a trip once where we went to H2O Glow Night, and it was an awesome time.
Well,
okay, but H2O Glow Nights, yes, that's
yeah,
what it's
those
at.
are awesome. That was
I haven't been to that.
I have a friend who recently purchased a unit in Margaritaville down there on 192, and they have that what is called H2O
Live.
Oh, H2, yeah.
Live.
I live right by there.
And yeah, it looks really cool. And they say it's like the most technologically advanced water park in the world. They have all kinds of stuff, but I mean, it's a water park. Like there's like you can slide down things, you can float on things, and you can wade in things. I mean, that's basically what a water park is, right? There's not a lot of cool technology in water parks, right? The coolest thing that happened in a water park was that Verrückt they put in Kansas City, and then unfortunately a child was killed on it. So maybe they pushed the water park technology a little bit too far. Maybe
Maybe that's not a good one.
Opinion. Yeah, maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I'm just saying, if you want to push technology and stuff, maybe the traditional theme parks have a little bit more room for growth than the water parks. I don't know.
Real quick, I just want to show this. We went to the H2O Glow Nights preview, I guess it was, and since it's all themed to like Partysaurus Rex, the director from Partysaurus Rex was there, so. That's great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, look at that little cartoon.
It's so good. I love it.
That's
love it so much.
Someone in the chat room, which water park do we think is themed better, Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon?
Blizzard Beach. I mean, Typhoon Lagoon.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, well, Typhoon Lagoon is great. Theming because you're on this like, is it deserted island? I don't know. It's a tropical place where there's a boat. But Blizzard Beach, to take it and make it into something where it's 90 degrees out and you're in the like on a ski jump and you're doing all this stuff, I think is a little bit more creative and kind of funny.
I was gonna vote for River Country.
River Country.
You're right.
Especially now.
Oh.
You mean Lakeside or Reflections Resort? Or Reflections Lakeside Resort? Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I never went to River Country, but I remember watching those Disney sing-along movies, and there was one that they had that was shot at River Country with the Country Bears, and I was just like, man, this looks cool.
Yes. Oh gosh, I remember that. Yes.
Mandy said
cool.
the cats have definitely taken over the water parks now that the humans are gone.
Lucky cats. Lucky
Which is probably true. And I've wondered, like, how many Disney ducks have starved to death because no one's walking. We talked about this before, but like, there's nobody there tossing them popcorn and like, do these ducks know how to find food that isn't like walking up to a tourist and just hanging out and being a duck? Like these poor ducks are going to be like,
we could have asked the duck translator.
Well, I like to think that there's like this one like custodial cast member that is still in the parks every night, or a guy with landscaping or whatever that like brings in a bucket of popcorn every night because he's like, for the starving ducks.
It just keeps like doesn't want to mess with their head, so he keeps like tripping and spilling some on accident. Like, oh, my mistake.
I'm not feeding you. This is by mistake.
Shucks. More popcorn spilled over here.
They're like, why does Bob the janitor always bring popcorn for his lunch and spill it everywhere?
It's one of those like containers are that big. You eating all that? Yeah.
Yeah, I probably disparage the water parks too much. I apologize if I'm spouting off unpopular opinions to people.
I guess I'm not inviting you to the water parks.
Yeah, you can swim with a kid's dirty diaper floating by you by yourself, Pete. I'm good.
Yeah, but you haven't lived until you've done that.
Oh, I've done it.
I think we're alive because we haven't done it.
It actually that happened to us, and it was like such karma. I'll tell a quick story.
Of course it happened to you. It's what happens at the water park.
No, it wasn't at a water park. We were at the pool over at Caribbean Beach, and there's a water slide, and I'm in line. Lauren's down at the bottom in the hot tub, and I was like, I want to do the water slide once. Whatever, I'm a big kid. So I go up, and these two kids in line were like terrors. They were like fighting with each other, but there was no parent there, and like it's always awkward. Like with my nieces and nephews, I can step in, but like I don't want to like discipline your kids. But they were like stomping on the floor and splashing water on everyone in this line. I'm like, oh my God. And then they get up to the top and they're leaning over the top and spitting down on people's heads. So finally I'm like, hey guys, you can't do that. Like enough is enough. And then there's like other parents around and no one's saying anything to anyone. So these two kids are like basically like get like, I guess, embarrassed that I yelled at them. I just said like enough, like gave them a stern voice. So they cut the whole line and ran and just jumped down the slide. These two kids, and I was like furious. I'm like, you're spitting on people, you made everyone's life miserable, now you cut the whole line. Literally, the minute that second kid hits the pool water, their lifeguard's whistling, everyone out of the pool, and these two kids aren't listening, they're in the pool. And finally the lifeguard up top, like, we're just like, yeah, some kid shit in the pool. Like, because everyone left. And I'm like, that's such karma. These two like rush to cut the line to fly into that disgusting water.
I think we have a Butters update.
Oh.
She's moved inside.
Oh.
I see that her handler is trying to get some good angles. Yeah, she's under the chair. Butters is under the chair. We have a Butters update.
She's in full. She's doing her earthquake training, finding a nice spot.
Yeah, you gotta get something stable like a chair. She loves to get under chairs. There she is. Butters. You touched on something I was gonna. Oh man, I don't know. These water parks got me fucked up. There's a water park in Tampa that's next to Busch Gardens, and it's called Adventure Island. So, I wonder how many people have gone there by mistake, thinking they're going to Islands of Adventure. Like, wow, this seems pretty affordable. You go to Adventure Island.
Universal really spreads out their theme parks. Just take a 50-minute drive.
It's been around for like 30 years at least. Adventure Island, and it's a water park. Like, I guess it's owned by Busch Gardens because it's right next to Busch Gardens. And Adventure Island. I've always wondered if people get confused. Hey, guess what? I got a really good deal on tickets to Islands of Adventure. And they did driving in their GPS and end up in Tampa at like a B-list water park. Do we have anything else that we want to touch on before we go? Yeah, Kevin said she's formerly Princess Buttercup. That is true. Lee named her Princess Buttercup after the Princess and the Princess Bride, but also she's kind of silly like the character Butters in South Park. And Butters seemed like a much better shortened name to call her than like saying, hey, Princess Buttercup, come here. So she became immediately Butters, and everyone knows her as Butters. Trust me, our whole complex knows Butters. She makes her presence known when she goes anywhere. But yeah, that is her full name. I appreciate
I is Butters.
I is Butters. Yeah, she's probably picking up Instagram followers as we go. There's a social media water park.
Yeah, I just saw that on the chat. I was like, what?
I think that might have been a parody that we did. I don't think that's a real place.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of water parks. I don't know what it is. There's something about water parks that just turns me off. I think it's a combination of like
a real place. I don't think so. I thought that was one of the commercial
combinations of like commingling of germs. What's that noise?
What are you doing? I just see this happening.
You good? I don't know.
I'm good.
Pete's up to.
No one. No.
We're over time, but I'm open to going a little longer if anybody has anything they want to talk about. Our viewers actually have not declined. Our viewers have held steady. Mandy said, I'm not on Instagram, but Butters is drawing me in. W. Bacon said water park equals giant toilet, which perfectly encapsulates my problems with water parks. Is it feels, I'm sorry, I don't know. That's just me.
I just saw my text because I was watching the chat, but Tom let me know the Sam's at Disneyland, Trader Sam's at Disneyland. If you ask for the Piranha Pool, that's the drink that has the blood that you like pour into it. We were talking about like.
Oh, I've never gotten that one there. I've gotten every drink. Like I stayed at Disneyland Hotel once, and I left, and my tab when I checked out of the hotel, my tab at Trader Sam's was like $1,000 after a week vacation. I thought I'd have everything at Trader Sam's, but apparently not. I never had the piranha pool.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. But that is a great Trader. The one there I like because they have like the full menu and it's not as, it doesn't seem like it's as in demand as the one in Florida. The one here is great, but it seems like, and we've talked about this, you go in there, it just depends on what kind of crowd you have that day. You know, sometimes you have a crowd where everybody's fun and festive, and sometimes it's real chill and quiet. And it helps sometimes when they force you to mingle with people by seating you at the surfboard. So you're like, oh, there's 2 of us and there's like 6 people at this surfboard. I guess we should all talk instead of staring at each other. But Trader Sam's still one of the top bars in town, right? On property. What are you laughing at?
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, I thought you were laughing.
Well, no, I am one of the. Someone on chat put when that warm water feeling hits you at Typhoon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's. Well, who knows what's going to happen with Typhoon Lagoon? It was supposed to reopen by now, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's open right now.
If it was, I'd be there. It's so hot here. I would have been in that water park last week.
Yeah.
I feel like I already social distance when I'm in the wave pool anyway. Like, you don't want to get crushed by some random person who doesn't know the waves are coming. And also, there are these random surges of super warm water. So I normally keep a 6-foot to 10-foot radius in the wave pool at Typhoon Lagoon regardless.
Anyways.
That's the only one that they can open right now.
Yeah, I'm like, see you later. Swimming away. It's a great place in social distance. You think about it too. Like, they let you down in timed on the slides. You get out of the water as one person's getting in. No one is going close to one another at a water park. I think we should open this up.
I don't want to be this close to somebody else in their swimsuit or some stranger that's shirtless.
But it is possible, as much as I disparaged as much as I disparaged it, it is possible that Volcano Bay is the best water park in Orlando. I don't
No,
know.
it's not.
It just looked run down last time I went there. I don't know. Last time I drove by there.
I guess they want to create space. The fact that you can just see the back of everything from the road, even I-4, like, I don't know, it takes away from the magic from me. I will go check it out eventually.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Yeah, and when you get near Universal, sometimes you have to cross over I-4 twice. Like, it's like, you're like, hey, I need to go here. And it's like, okay, turn right, and you cross over I-4. And it's like, then do a U-turn and turn left, and you go cross over I-4 again. And then then you're in the parking lot or something. I know Universal is confusing to me. I think maybe I was just not born for it.
Yeah, and when I-4 is such a major road that if that's the image that you're showing to everybody that's driving on I-4, like, what are you doing? Like, you gotta make it look like very appealing. It says, oh, what is this? This looks so different than everything else. Let me go in. But if it doesn't look attractive to people that are passing by, like, you gotta change that up.
I mean, that volcano
is cool. Attractive is that big volcano.
Yeah, but even that one side is open. Like, when it at night, excuse me, when it's lit and the smoke is coming out, yeah, it looks cool. But they have that opportunity across the board. You own basically the biggest billboard along I-4 to bring people in, and instead you just show the backs of rides and buildings. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I think we're ready to wrap it up. We're going to go to 2:00, and what time is it now? It's like
2:20.
Yeah, and we started on time too. Thank you very much to Kevin. Kevin, before we go, can you throw up the schedule for the next few days? Do you have that?
Schedule.
Okay, so we have tonight. It's kind of fuzzy to me. Is that my video? I didn't drink that many Coronas.
It's clear.
Ride Rehab watches. Yeah, must be me. Ride Rehab watches tonight at 9. That'll be great. I saw what they're watching. I don't really know what it. Well, I don't know. We'll see. You'll see something wacky. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Reading Magic with Figment and Peter Pan, Walt Disney World 25th anniversary. So that'd be cool. 25th anniversary, by the way, Allison, would have ruined your wedding. Oh wait, no, you got married at the boardwalk. You didn't get married at the wedding.
No, I was at the boardwalk. No.
I happen to know this. The castle was very divisive. A lot of people had different opinions about the castle. And when they put that Pepto-Bismol castle in, a lot of people that booked, high dollar weddings there in the chapel are like, no, because there's a big window right behind you when you're getting married. So they actually put like I don't know if it's a decal or some kind of photo, but they basically made it so you weren't looking at the pink castle, you're looking at the regular castle. They put an overlay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So tomorrow night we have the Onward Watch Along at 11, or tomorrow morning we have the Onward Watch Along at 11. Check that out. I might watch Onward tonight so that I know what to watch along with. 8 p.m. Pressing Issues. I actually don't know who's hosting Pressing Issues, but what we're doing is this is a previous show we have. It is Kevin. Kevin is hosting Pressing Issues, and it's more
hosting it.
What's that?
Jason's hosting it.
What'd you say? Oh, Jason's hosting it. Okay. It is a like a long form discussion on instead of just it's kind of the opposite of Park Center. Where Park Center is like, okay, we're going to boom, boom, boom. We're going to go through the weekend Disney news with 7 quick hits. Pressing Issues is more of a deep dive into whatever they decide to discuss. Monday at 11 a.m. the Animation Countdown. I actually don't know what that is. Who's that?
We are going to be counting down all the animated movies. So 50.
They're ranking all of them.
Oh yeah. I do know what that is.
It's the Animation Countdown.
Yeah.
We'll have Cosmic Disney Live Monday at 9. Eric Wolf Tuesday 11 a.m. the Wolf Den. Tune in. He'll probably have something on his board for that. And then at 9 p.m., the Back to the Future for the Carousel of Progress. That's going to be a cool one. I decided not to participate in a panel because I feel like these Back to the Future ones, you got to be kind of an expert, and I'm more an appreciator of the Carousel of Progress than I'm an expert. So we're going to have
I believe I'm participating in that discussion.
Yeah. So Allison will be there. That's good. Good to see you again. And we just want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. Pete's taking his nap. Thanks for joining us this morning. Again, one final plug for the WIGS, the WDW Interglobe Society, WDWNT Interglobe Society. That is our Patreon group, patreon.com/WDWNT. You can get exclusive content. We have post shows, and we actually save some of those post shows so you can go back and watch what happened on the post show, last week after Walt Disney World News Tonight, etc. Exclusive content, access to events.
Put that on your face. Not Tom.
Tom will put spaghetti in your trick or treat bag. I don't know what. It's for as low as $2 a month, you become a member of WDWNT Interglobe Society. We're very excited about this, and feel free to join. Also, the super chat is open until we close this video down. So if you want to donate in the super chat, of course, we'd appreciate it if you have a good time. Let us know if you have ideas for things for us to discuss or shows or whatever. Let us know. And you can send it to me at ericm@wdwnt.com. It's ericm@wdwnt.com. Send me your ideas. I have some ideas for next week. We're looking forward to seeing you for as long as we're all shut in. So thanks for joining us with Locked In with Eric Morton and friends. Kevin, I don't know if you want to take us out with a commercial or I guess dealer's choice. Have a great day, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Sivako.
Sivako.
Sivako.